Whoops, was getting into it. What is up, everybody? 50,000 goddamn subscribers. Holy shit, the day has finally come. First of all, got to start by thanking each and every one of you. And also, hello on Twitch. I forget to acknowledge you guys the last couple times I put you on there. Hello, Twitchians. Thank all of you guys so much for the past 4+ years. No way in hell did I think when I started this that I would be at 50K, let alone just in 4 years. You know, for some people, it's easy to get there. For others, it's impossible. For me, it was damn sure a struggle, but we got here. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It's humbling. It's crazy. And now the next goal is 100K. I don't know how long that's going to take. I like to be ambitious. Think that maybe I'll get to 75K by the end of this year, but we shall see. But man, 50K, when I just randomly looked at YouTube today and it was like 50,005, and I was like, oh my God, it's finally here. So what is going on, everybody? I see a whole bunch of people in the chat. Nobody from Twitch yet. Okay, so we're all YouTube friends. We got Guadalupe, Dale, old reliable Dale's here. Sky, what is going on? Gareth, Slowadanks, Mike Rojas, Kara's in the chat. What is going on, guys? So yeah, I figured. I mean, I've got a while. I don't believe Holly and Riley will be on the way home anytime soon, but you know they might. But I had the door locked just in case. But I figured I would hang out with you guys for a little while and roll in 50K the regular way. I'm also hopefully within a week or so, I'm going to be doing a video on that monstrosity back there, doing an entire Blu-ray collection video. So that's something I've been wanting to do on my channel for a while. I figured 50K was a good time to do it. I don't know how long that video is going to be, but it's something people have asked for quite a few times, so you can look forward to that as well. I have another review series that's going to be starting up here soon, as well as getting back into Dexter in February. And depending on what things look like with Spiral, I'll be starting Saw again here very soon. But the last thing I want to do is make a joke and about how long it's been and finally get back on the Saw train, and then they delay it until October or some shit. So I'm biding my time on Saw a little bit just to make sure I don't step on myself with that one. I think, did I see a super chat? I think I saw one pop up for a second. Yes, David 2000. I just got my learner's permit today. Well, drive safe and enjoy it. It's always nerve-wracking when you first start out, but as long as you're careful and you have good teachers and you learn and don't go nuts, you'll be fine. All right. Do the Final Destination ranking already. I'm saving Final Destination for when they do the next one. They were supposed to be making a new one. I don't know when the hell it's supposed to be. You know, this world we live in right now is screwing up all the movie plans, but that was my short, long-term plan, was to do Final Destination once we had a new one coming out. That way we can celebrate the whole franchise. I can do a ranking with the new one, all that stuff. So, yeah, that is the plan. Bryce Bailey. Hey, Cody, congrats on 50K. Thank you so much. Been watching for a while, but never have been able to catch a live stream so far. Well, awesome. Welcome to your first one. Thanks for being such an awesome and down-to-earth YouTuber, and keep up the great content. Thank you so much, Bryce. Oh, Blake Garner. Shouldn't you be playing Hitman? Oh, yeah, that's what he said, too. I just popped in to say hey, and everyone keep your questions short so Cody can go play Hitman. Yes. Hope everybody saw my little joke on Facebook today. All I've seen is political shit for what feels like the last 4 years, really, but a lot the past week. And all day today was like two separate extremes. Like, it's the end of the world. Oh my God, he's left office. Now we have no hope. And oh my God, thank God he's gone. Now there's a light at the horizon. There was like just two extremes all day. And so I made this whole Facebook. Let me go ahead and read it. Some of you saw it, but I thought it was pretty fucking clever. I was laughing as I posted it, as I often do when I think I'm clever. I'm my own biggest fan. I really am. I put, well, today is the day. We've been waiting for this for what seems like forever. There were times when it felt like vile people were going to continue to go unchecked and nobody would be there to stop it. Today, they will be stopped. That's right. Hitman 3 is officially out and it's about to get bloody. So, oh man, crack myself up. Stay Metal Ray. What is going on? I'm so sorry you have to review Saw 5. Yeah, I'm sorry I have to review the rest of that fucking franchise. He barely does collabs with his friends. What is that in response to? Uh-oh. Oh, after credits. Do you do collabs with smaller YouTubers? Interesting question. Once in a great while, like if it's a podcast or I've done a couple of short little interviews and stuff like that for smaller channels to help them out, to give them just a little bit of a boost or whatever I can do. Oftentimes, though, I don't. I like Lindsay was kind of joking about. I barely even do collabs. Period. I tend to focus on my own stuff, and I'm very much comfortable with those that I do collabs with, like my autop stream knuckleheads, Sean Chandler, Durbin. Like I tend to stick to the people that I know and the people that I'm close with and I trust. The trouble with collabing with smaller YouTubers, and this goes for any YouTuber, not just me, is the bigger disparity you have in subscriber count, the less beneficial it is for both people when you do a collab. Like if I did a collab with somebody that's like at 300 subscribers or something like that, they might think it's going to be awesome and I'm going to get all these Cody Leach viewers and it's going to be this huge boost for my channel and oh my God. And it really doesn't work that way, unfortunately. For some reason, that's just not the way that the algorithm works. That's not the way that viewers work. So even if I did do that collab, they might get 10, 15 extra subs, which might seem like a lot at the time, but it's not very beneficial. Nor would it be beneficial for me because, I don't need to get into why. But yeah, so collabs with big disparities in subscriber counts is weird and it's rough. It just doesn't work out the way that you think it will on paper. It's the same reason, aside from the fact that I'm sure he doesn't even know who I am, but it's the same reason why you'll probably never see Chris Stuckman or Dead Meat or anybody trying to do a collab with me because I'm little old me. Who the fuck cares what I say? You know what I mean? So it's just it's weird the way that YouTube works. So no, I traditionally don't. I have done a few interviews and some small exceptions, but it just doesn't really benefit anybody to do that, honestly. Oh, sure was nice of Michael Myers to break his silence and defend you against the crazy Halloween fans. That was really funny, actually. I saw that comment and I was like, holy shit. Broke a 50-year plus vow of silence to tell all the loonies to shut their lips and throw a little dig at, that one dickhead. Yeah, that was fun. What's sad is that Final Destination 4 was my introduction to horror. That is sad, but luckily you have nowhere to go but up from there. That's the only Final Destination movie that I don't own, actually. I'm usually a completionist, but that movie is such trash that I've never had the interest in watching it. If it's on Amazon for like $5, I would still be like, should I get like a cheeseburger for that? I don't know. Oh, man. Let me see. Hey, look on the bright side. Whenever you review the Hellraiser, all you have to review is the first 4 and forget the rest. I'm sure no one would blame you. Oh, trust me. If I stopped anywhere in that franchise, I would be reminded daily that I still have more to go. People do not like me taking breaks in review series. I have found that out the hard way. Oh, man. I didn't miss that. Nope. Okay. Tom Roberts, in 2018, I had to drive 29 hours from Texas to, is that Washington? I binged damn near your whole channel. Awesome to see you hit that 50K milestone. Congratulations, Cody. Well, thank you so much, and I'm glad I could entertain on that miserable drive that probably was. That's probably the best way to get affiliated with channels, honestly, because there's quite a few channels, some that I choose not to name right now, that I got kind of familiar with doing the same thing. Because on my last job, I used to drive a lot. And so there was 2-3 hour driving time sometimes where I would just put somebody's channel on like a playlist or something and just let it go through and listen to, 20, 30 reviews or something. And by the end of it, I was a fanatic. So that's awesome that you had that experience with my channel. Oh, man. Rank Stranger Things seasons. I'm sure I will when the show ends. Season 4, is that supposed to be the end? Or are they doing a season 5? I'm not sure. I reviewed the first 2 seasons. I didn't get a chance to review season 3. Season 4, I think, comes out this year. So possibly I might do it. Who knows? I might. I had fun reviewing the Cobra Kai's and ranking them. Brevins, Flicks, and Games. Will you review a few DC movies leading up to the Snyder Cut of Justice League? Probably not. I have way too much on my plate right now. Ow. Skinned my finger and I just rubbed it on my table. I'm looking forward to the Snyder Cut, but I'm probably just going to cover the Snyder Cut. I'm going to do a regular review. I'll do a spoiler review. Probably do a live stream with Dervin, State of the DCEU, talking about the differences and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't really think that. I mean, comic book stuff is very hit and miss on this channel as it is. I still enjoy doing it because I like doing videos on stuff that I like, whether it performs well or not. But going back to do them usually requires demand of some kind, and I don't think there would be a whole lot of demand for that. Although one day I would love to review Man of Steel and explain how incredible it is. Sorry, Lindsay. Kenneth Holmes, congrats, bro. Sending something your way Friday. Sweet. I will keep an eye out. Thank you, Kenneth. Kara. Oh. Stephen Field, 552 to 1543. I think you were trying to tell me about the super chats. I think I got them. That was the first Twitch comment that I saw. Love your background, Cody. Thank you. I finally got my office put back together and mostly the way that I want it. I still have on that wall, which you can't really see. It's the only blank wall that I have right now. I have some metal posters that I'd like to do like an arrangement with, but I just got that last week from Pulp Fiction. It's a pretty cool looking canvas. Finally got the movie shelves put together. The LED lights look better, not perfect, but yeah. It's a very comfortable room for me. I could live here. Thoughts on the possibility of Charlie Cox returning as Daredevil in Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 3 rumors in general? Also, thank you for introducing me to Dexter. Awesome. Glad that we introduced you to Dexter. The possibility of Charlie Cox returning, I would say it's extremely small. Never say never, but I would say it's extremely small. I mean, if Kevin Feige was that worried about incorporating those, he would have done it back when it was on top. Back when it's all anybody could talk about was the Netflix MCU shows. They never bothered acknowledging those things ever. So I don't see any reason why now that it's canceled that you would be like, oh, okay, well, we'll throw you a bone and bring Daredevil in here. As far as the rumors in general, I'm sure a lot of them are probably true. I think a lot of times the studios leak that stuff on purpose to get buzz going. And like, they're like, we're rumored right now that Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone is possibly coming back. And there's talks about Tobey Maguire. No, there's no talks. They're already signed. They're already in the script. The movie was filming. They wouldn't film it and be like, well, we'll just keep going and, cross our fingers that they decide to come back for this movie. When we get there, if they don't, we'll think of something. No, they already know what they're doing. They already have everybody signed. Everybody's already got their checks. They're just waiting to announce that. Tobey Maguire will be the big one. That'll be one that they'll probably announce like in a couple of months, if not this summer. I don't know when Spider-Man's supposed to come out, but that's going to be the one where they're like, he's coming back, and everybody's going to go, holy shit, yes! And then that's how you create buzz and maintain it, especially in a post-COVID world where you have to maintain it for like 2 fucking years because everything gets goddamn delayed. Better Call Saul series after season 6, a review series after season 6. Ranking of that show and Breaking Bad seasons would be awesome. Congrats on 50K. I do have a ranking. Well, I mean, a ranking of all of them put together. I probably wouldn't do that. And that's just to be fair, because I am such a Breaking Bad whore that is as great as Better Call Saul is. I don't think I would put a single season of Better Call Saul above any season of Breaking Bad just because I love it that much. So it would just be another excuse for me to blow Breaking Bad. But I will do a ranking possibly, or I'll just do a review for the whole show. I'm way too far behind as far as reviews to go back and do a review series. But I will do something Better Call Saul related once it comes out. I also want to do like top 20 or top 10 Breaking Bad episodes or a character ranking or something. I'm going to do some more with that series as well. When do you think the next Dexter review will be? Because I really love that review series so far. Sometime in February. The holidays took a lot of time away from both me and Lindsay. Obviously, we have all these top 50s that I'm doing. I still got my top 100. We got 31 on 31 in a week or so. So we've had a lot going on. We haven't really been able to do Dexter. I certainly haven't been able to, and I know Lindsay's probably even busier than I am. So February things will certainly clear up for me, and I'm assuming that they'll maybe not clear up for Lindsay, but if I give her enough head space, like or enough of a head start, being like, hey, February, when can we do it? I think it'd be easier to schedule versus when she's trying to do 31 on 31 and all this other stuff. It would be impossible. So I would say middle of February, somewhere in there, we'll get back to it. Since you like Splinter Cell, would you consider ranking all of the games? If there's a new one that comes out, that's the tricky thing. See, like whenever there's a lot of things that I'd love to rank, but strategically it makes sense to do it when there's something out there that's creating buzz. That's why when like the new Resident Evil game came out, Resident Evil 3 last year, that's when I decided to rank the Resident Evil games because people were talking about Resident Evil. They were looking at Resident Evil videos. They were searching Resident Evil. If you just do a random video on a game series that we haven't had a new game in, 8 years, something like that, it's not really going to get that far. My Metal Gear Solid ranking kind of proved that to me. As fun as it is, when there's something new out there, people grab onto it more. So I would love to do a ranking of those games, and I'm sure my ranking would be controversial because I absolutely love Conviction, and for some reason people don't like Conviction. But I would want them to have a new game out. Like I'm probably going to do a Hitman ranking after I get done playing the shit out of Hitman 3, which came out today. So look forward to that. But yes, I would love to do one. Did I miss any super chats? I don't believe I did, but I'll scroll up. Oh, yep, there's one. Oh, yep, there's one. Oh, there's 2, 3, 4. Shit. Okay. Okay. All right. Bryce Bailey. I know you dislike Blair Witch. Do you like any found footage? I personally, one of my favorite subgenres, VHS 1 and 2 are among my faves. VHS 1 I did watch. The only one that I liked, though, was the first one with the chick that's like the succubus or the bat or whatever. That was pretty badass. Traditionally, no, I don't like found footage because I tend to find that most movies just use it as a gimmick or a way to keep the budget down, and they don't really do it in a way that serves the movie, with a couple exceptions. My favorite found footage is probably Chronicle. I think Chronicle is an awesome movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember really liking The Last Exorcism as like a oh god went down the wrong pipe. As like a found footage horror movie. I remember that one actually being really good. I never saw the sequel. It didn't have any hope in that one. But yeah, I don't like the Blair Witch movies. I don't like the first movie at all. I think that movie is genius for its marketing and its concept. I think that the movie itself is actually terrible. As far as movies that I would say are overrated, that would be way up on the list. Never saw the second one. Seems like pretty much nobody likes it. I did see the sequel / remake reboot, and that one had moments, but it had the same problem for me as every other found footage movie. It's like they're just kind of spinning their wheels until like the last 5 minutes where everything gets nuts, and then they just stop. Oh, man. Thanks for having respect for Halloween, H2O. H2O is the shit. I don't care what anybody says. In your opinion, which is more frustrating, Halloween 6 or Halloween 2018? Well, I really wasn't a Halloween fan as far as the franchise when I first saw Halloween 6, so I didn't really experience the disappointment that fans did with that movie. The first time that I saw it, I was just a kid. It was randomly threw on this slasher movie. I was like, okay, whatever, and I never watched it again. And then until I did my review series a couple years ago is when I really like dove into it and watched it. And it's certainly disappointing where things went. I would say 5 would be more disappointing than 6 because 5 already laid the groundwork for not having very high expectations by the time 6 came around. So for me, it would be Halloween 2018 because for me, that movie, and some will say that it did this. Obviously, I'm on the other side of the coin. That movie had the potential to be damn near as good as the first one and learn from all of the mistakes of the franchise and just bring it to a whole new level. And for me, it didn't do that at all. The kills were great. Michael was great. Direction, atmosphere, cinematography, all that was great. I thought the story was not very good. I didn't like Laurie's direction in that. I didn't like hardly any of the other characters. I hated Sartain. I hated the way that they ended the movie. So that one, I really walked into the movie theater thinking this is going to be a fucking awesome movie. This is going to be my favorite movie of the year. Halloween's going to raise a couple of notches in my rankings. This is going to be the shit. And I walked out going, oh, you fucked it up. Let's see. What do you want to see most of Scream 5? What do you think of the single title and killing any of the main three? I want to see most, if not all, of the main three dead in the movie. If they keep Sydney, I understand that, and I'll be fine with that. But Gail and Dewey, it's time. It's time. If none of them die in this movie, they have no balls. And I understand that now that Wes Craven's gone, it makes it even harder creatively to do that because it's going to feel like somebody took his franchise and started killing his characters, and fans are finicky bitches when it comes to killing characters. Hello, Terminator fans. But what I want out of it is I want it to be creative with the kills. I want it to have balls. I want it to feel like there's something that they're saying, like Scream is known for, and not just be a generic slasher movie with Ghostface. And I want to see some of the main three get killed in a respectful and epic fashion. As far as just the singular title, I really don't know what to make with that. I had a theory that maybe they're going to be playing on the whole sequels that ignore all of the sequels, kind of like Halloween 2018. But every single thing that I've read, as far as press releases and people talking about it, it seems like they're not really going to be doing anything creative like that. They're just going to be doing a straightforward slasher and kind of getting rid of the meta elements. But we'll see. They might just be playing coy. Uncle Sean's in the chat answering questions about 31 on 31. Oh, let's see. I know there was more super chats. Gurmizzle. Hey, Cody, congrats on 50K. You deserve it. Thank you. Did you get a chance to check out the 2019 horror movie Booty Bum Bum? It's great. Is that really a movie? I don't know if that's a joke or not. No, I did not see the classic Booty Bum Bum. That slipped through my fingers. And yes, I realized I just said that the Booty Bum Bum slipped through my fingers. CBMF, congrats. Thank you. Got to throw at least one question in here. What videos are you most excited to do this year? Any video reveals? I am excited about doing the top 100 because the top 50s have been a lot of fun, albeit a ton of work so far, especially the horror one. I had a lot of fun with that one, kind of nailing down the craft of it and getting some of the new background music and getting the transitions that I used. And I've been having fun with those. So I'm looking forward to the top 100. I'm looking very much forward to this Halloween's 31 on 31. Again, I don't know if we're going to have plans to do more throughout the year or not. It just depends on what the movie scene does. But we already 90% know what we're going to be doing for that one. And that one's going to be a lot of fun, as well as the review series that are going to go along with that. I know I kind of dropped the ball last year with Jaws and some of those. Sorry. And I don't know if I want to reveal it or not. I'll just say that there is a video series that I tried to do once that I was very excited and passionate about, that I just don't think it was the right time in my channel to do it. And I'm going to bring it back. So we've got something. We're pushing for March. Me and somebody else are pushing for March on giving this another shot. So look forward to that. Some of you might be able to guess what it is. Banzelverse, thoughts on the text TASM, the Amazing Spider-Man films. They're okay. I saw the first one. This is what frustrates me about the Spider-Man fandom as far as the movies go. When the Sam Raimi films came out, everybody loved them. Everybody loved them. They were on top as far as superhero movies. This was pre-MCU. The third one had its hate here and there, understandably, but overall, people loved those movies. Then The Amazing Spider-Man comes out, and the entire narrative is, oh man, these are much better than those crappy Sam Raimi movies. And so I went to see it thinking like, everybody's like, this is the best one yet. It's the best one yet. And I was like, okay, it's doing a lot of the same things with a little darker tone to it. And you got the more supernatural villain in Lizard. I like Andrew Garfield in the role. He's probably my least favorite of the three. I think he's the best actor of the three, but I think he's my least favorite portrayal of the three. The second one has things that I like in it as well. I think like the relationship between him and Gwen Stacy is far better than the relationships for the other two versions of Spider-Man. And the Gwen Stacy death and everything I think was handled really well, but that movie is an overloaded mess and has really embarrassing stuff in it. So yeah, they're okay. They're the Spider-Man movies that I like the least. Devin Lott, congratulations on your 50 sub milestone. Are you ever going to review My Bloody Valentine, both versions? I have reviewed the older version. I don't know if I'll review the remake anytime soon. Maybe for Valentine's Day I'll do that, because I did the original last Valentine's Day. So thank you for the idea. And thank you for the super chat, Devin. Some neat. Come on, man. You do this every stream. Please stop. Please stop. Missed the super chat. Oh, no, I got you, man. I got the Gurmizzle. Gary Rangel, do you think they should have put a 5 in Scream 5? Until I see the movie, I don't know. Until I see the movie and see if there's any creative reason why they would do that. To me, if there's no creative reason within the story or the concept that they're going for it to just be called Scream, I think it's lazy. And I think that it's one of those things that I'm tired of seeing. I'm tired of having, like, there's 3 movies called Halloween. Just put it that way. Halloween's awesome. Which one? All right, guys. Let me scroll back up, make sure I didn't miss. All right. Connor Baker, thoughts on the Fright Night remake? I know you like First. I love the first one. I actually really like the Fright Night remake. It's not as good as the first, but it's pretty damn good for a remake. I really enjoy it. I don't. If I was to give the one glaring weakness in the movie, I think McLovin is not a very good Evil Ed, especially not compared to the original. But I love the new version of what's the dude's name? Peter Vincent. I love the new version of him and the actor that portrays him. I think that Anton Yelkin did really good in the movie. Rest in peace. And I think that Colin Farrell was pretty damn good as Jerry Dandridge. I like Colin Farrell. Uncle Sean, thank you so much. Important question. What is your ranking of the Nick Cage 90s action trilogy? The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off. Oh, yeah. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. My ranking of the Nick Cage trilogy. I will have Face Off at the top. The Rock very close behind that, and then Con Air a decent amount below that. I like all 3 of them. I've never been as high on Con Air as everybody else, but I absolutely adore Face Off. I love that movie. It did make my top 50 action films too, as well as The Rock. The Rock is awesome as well. The Rock is definitely... It might be my favorite Michael Bay movie. I have a big spot in my heart for those Bad Boys movies, but The Rock is just awesome. So yes, Face Off, The Rock, Con Air. Put the bunny back in the box. Hi, Cody. Love your vids. MC Wagon Wheel. Congrats on 50K. Have you heard about the Resident Evil showcase tomorrow? If so, what are you excited about seeing? I've heard about it. I don't know what all they're going to be showing. I know that we're going to be getting some stuff from Village. That's probably the only stuff that I'm really interested in right now. Or if they're going to show what they're doing with this Resident Evil 4 remake, that would make me giddy. But yes, tomorrow looks like we're going to have some Resident Evil stuff to talk about for sure. Connor Baker, also congrats on 50K. Much respect. Thank you so much, sir. Oh, let's see here. Some neat dude, I'm telling you, I'm going to mute you. I'm not trying to be a dick, but all you're doing is posting troll stuff. I'm not entertained. I'm not. So stop. My boy knows what's up. My boy knows what's up. That's all I'm going to say. Jackson Stinnett just wanted to reach out and say congrats. Love the channel. Badass personality and stellar product. Thank you for keeping us all entertained. Thank you so much, Jackson. I try my best. It says you have 49.9K subs, not 50K. Well, what did Lindsay do? Delete all 2,000 of her subs? I did have 50,005. Now it just says, oh, I can't see that at all. Whoops. It does say 50,000. So whatever. I crossed it today. Whether I go back and forth, who cares? Oh, am I caught? Nope, I'm not. Marvel, congrats on 50K, man. Looking forward to the 31 on 31 and Candyman this year. Wifey and I are renting Promising Young Woman tonight. Heard great things. I've heard great things about it too. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. I've had the screener for a while. I need to check it out because I've heard nothing bad or even mediocre about it. I just have not had time to watch movies. It's been a pain in the ass trying to find time to just sit and watch something. I'm either editing or I'm streaming or I'm working on something or I'm sitting there dog ass tired. I've been watching a lot of Survivor with Holly. She got me into Survivor. I know a lot of you are like, what the fuck? That show's been on for 20 years. Yeah, I know. Well, she just got into it and I kind of got forced into watching it to a degree because it was always on. And I'm like, I kind of like this show. So I've been watching a lot of that too, as well as Impractical Jokers. Mike's Carpet Movies. Ever seen Project Almanac? Fun time travel movie. I did see that. It is a fun movie. It is a good movie. I haven't rewatched it, but for like a PG-13 high school take on time travel, it was pretty damn entertaining. I liked that movie. Oh shit, where did it go? Where did it go? Abbott Skelding, one of my oldest friends, everybody. Abbott is ever since, what was it, third grade, my friend? We were thick as thieves until I had to move. What do you miss most about Ohio? Obviously my friends there, because God knows I had a lot of really great friendships, you included, and it sucks that I mean, obviously social media has been a blessing in keeping a lot of those relationships alive, but it sucks to think about how close or, you know, how many memories I could have made with all these people that I just didn't get a chance to. So that's the thing I miss the most. Second most is some of the food there, like Rudy's hot dog and it's just places like that you just don't get around here. Like I crave a great chili dog all the time because people in the South just don't know what the fuck is up. So I love that. And something I've gotten used to it. But something that for the longest time I really missed about up north is everything's really close together. Like everything's like 5-10 minutes away. Like if something's 20 minutes away, people up north act like that's fucking forever. Down here, down south, you will be lucky if civilization is within 30 minutes. And as an adult, that has its blessings because it's quiet and you're secluded. But when I first moved here and I was 14 and I wanted to go do shit and I couldn't go anywhere and I had to wait for my dad to drive me somewhere if he wanted to go. And then it was like a 45-minute drive just to get into town. It was like, fuck, where the hell did you move me? Oh, man. All right. I see some more super chats pouring in. My mother is going to be very disappointed that you have Con Air so low in your ranking. No. So am I not welcome to stay at her house anymore? That was adorable, by the way. I think I don't remember how it came about, but I think there was something going on with Sean. And I don't remember if it was him or his wife was kind of like, oh, come on down. Like, and his mom was like, he could stay here or something. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but it was pretty cute. Cody is, besides Halloween, is there any entertainment news updates, hype you're tired of? I'm sick of hearing about WandaVision and Spider-Man. No, it's mostly just Halloween. I mean, that's really the only thing that I see that's just constantly in the news for nothing. Like today, a picture of him standing in the house that's on fire. Cool. We know he had to get out of the house somehow. Like people are like, oh my god, hints. It's hints. Let's speculate. Let's speculate with an hour-long fucking video. God, it drives me nuts. It's just Halloween. Jared, Cody, congrats on 50K. Curious to hear one of your worst theater experiences. I've told this story a couple of times, but the one that always comes to mind is Lights Out. The woman in the row in front of me was Snapchatting all the scare scenes. So every time, like, you know, us horror movie fans know when a scare is coming. The music swells down, everything gets quiet. You can hear a pin drop. You know something's about to go back. So every single time that happened, she would pull her phone up and start recording the scene on Snapchat. And once the scene was over, she would like sit there for a good 2 minutes and put like emojis and text over the video and then post it. And so it would just ruin the scene because I'm trying to be engaged in the scare scene. All I see is like a spotlight over here. And so about a half an hour into the movie, I'm about to lose my shit and go find management or something because I don't want to make a scene. You know what I mean? So I'm about to go find management and be like, hey, this chick's recording. And as soon as I'm about to lose my patience, somebody from management was already in there and kind of stood in the aisleway. So I don't know if that was just really good timing or if somebody else complained, but she put her phone away and it stopped. So there was that one. A Quiet Place was rough because every single noise, and there was a guy next to me. So it's always phones. The guy next to me was sitting there and he had his phone on his armrest. And every single time he got a text or something, he would like look at it like this and shine it, and it would shine right towards me. And then when I saw Us, it wasn't a phone. It was just a loud ass annoying couple that talked the entire movie. And so I very like violently and like loudly got out of my seat and went down to the other side of the theater because I got tired of their shit too. Right about the time when they're like debating on who killed the most, so who can drive. So about halfway through the movie. Oh my Lord, where are we at? I know there's a couple more. Desi finally made it. I don't think she gets to attend too many live streams. Congrats, Cody. Well deserved. Just taking a minute to say thank you for the content. I work in a school system, and your channel seriously lessens the stress of my day today, especially this year. To 100K. Well, thank you so much. I hope you don't play my videos too loud in a school setting, especially if there's young children around. But I'm glad I can help you get through your day. And yes, to 100K we go. All right. Let me see. Am I caught up? No, I am not caught up. Holy hell. Okay. I'm going to try to burn through these really quick, guys. So there's Desi. Okay. Connor Baker, can't wait for the top 100 thoughts on Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver is good. It's not a movie that I really have the desire to watch all that much. It's one of those movies I would say I respect more than I enjoy. It's certainly interesting. It's a great performance by Robert De Niro, and it's a wild movie that does some very dirty and grimy things. But it's a movie that I've seen, and then it might be 10 years before I watch it again. Tyler Jackson, congrats on 50K. Thank you. You deserve it. Don't have a question. Just wanted to show some love and support to my favorite YouTuber. Now on to 100K. Well, thanks a lot, Tyler. I appreciate it. I'm going to leave that one alone. Good Real Hunting. Congratulations on 50K subs. You deserve it. Keep up the amazing content. Awesome. Thank you so much, Good Real Hunting. How you like them apples? CBMF Productions. Do you plan on checking out Last Night in Soho, Edgar Wright's first delve into horror that isn't a comedy? I am not an Edgar Wright super fan. His Cornetto trilogy, I don't really get the appeal with Shaun of the Dead. I know people are gasping for breath right now that I said that. I've watched it like 3 times. The humor is just not my style. I actually liked Hot Fuzz the best out of those 3 movies. So I actually really enjoyed that one. World's End was okay. And Scott Pilgrim's okay as well. Baby Driver, I loved though. So Baby Driver alone has turned me into somebody that when I see Edgar Wright's name on something, I'm there. So regardless what the hell Last Night in Soho is, because he's doing it, I will be there. Let me see here. I guess that was just a donation. Thank you, Vince. Did you forget The Exorcist in your top 50 horror? Do you think it's slightly overrated? I think it's, well, I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen The Exorcist since I was like 10 or 11 years old. It got really hyped up for me. I watched it thinking this was going to be the scariest movie ever. I didn't think it was scary at all. Traditionally, I'm not really scared by horror movies anyway, but it was really overhyped for me. And I just haven't really had the interest or taken the time to rewatch it since. That's a movie that I get asked about a lot, though, so I might do a review on that, maybe a review series. I don't know how many movies are in the Exorcist franchise, but I do need to rewatch it. So this is a child Cody's opinion, but yes, I think it's overrated. Hey, my little brother. What's up, Garrett? Congrats, man. Still remember your very first video being the sausage party review. Nonetheless, time to hit 100K. Much love, brother. I love you, buddy. Thank you for thank you for the donation. Thank you for coming in. And yes, it's so weird to think that this all started with Sausage Party. That has nothing to do with my channel at all. But yes, that was the one. That was the one that, for whatever reason, I was like, I want to talk about this. Today's the day. Let's do a video. So thank you, buddy. I love you. I saw a couple of comments saying I thought you liked 3C or whatever. Look, I have no problems whatsoever with Chris as a person. I want that clear because God knows people will take shit out of context. 3C was not specifically who I was talking about. There is a myriad of channels that every time there's an update on Halloween, they jump on it. They do a news update video and they just basically rape the living hell out of these news stories for views. Could I argue that 3C does that? Sometimes, and I think he would probably agree, but that's not a negative reflection on him whatsoever. 3C Chris is a good dude. I have never had nothing but good interactions with them, and I have no reason to expect that that would change. So please, if for whatever reason that's where that was heading, I am not talking about him. I'm not talking about anybody specifically. It's just a general statement. Oh, shit. Am I getting more of these? Oh, motherfucker. I'm trying to catch up. Sorry, guys. Andrew, what is your least favorite use of practical effects in a movie? Also, I'm going to send a limited Blu-ray release of one of your favorite movies Saturday. Thanks, man. That'll be badass. What is your least favorite use of practical effects? I can't think of a least favorite practical effect. Usually it's a CGI effect that sticks in my mind. I would have to really think back. It would have to be something like in the 80s that it wasn't quite there. I don't know, man. That's a hard one off the top of my head. I'm sorry I can't answer it. But yes, CGI effects tend to stick in my head as like terrible memories. Not so much practical effects. I see Lindsay talking to Razor. Who is Razor and what is the argument going on? Because I'm sure I don't get why you hate that people talk about a movie so much when your channel is you talking about movies. See, this is where things really get their wires crossed. I'm not hating on people talking about a movie. I'm not hating on people being excited for a movie. I'm hating on people exploiting a movie's news release constantly for easy views. You have never seen me do that. Even when Child's Play was coming out, I did a few videos arguing why I think that it's a good thing. I did a video talking about which one I was more excited for versus the TV series that we still haven't gotten. And then I did my reviews. I didn't stop every single time they released an image and do a video. Every single time they did a video clip, I did a video. Every single time that there was some kind of chatter, I did a video. There is channels out there that have literally turned into Halloween-centric channels because of doing that. And it does aggravate me because I'm in this space. If you want to call it a business, I'm in this business and I don't really like that business practice. It is that simple. And yes, what Lindsay said, it's about them not allowing someone to have negatives about it. Most of the people that try to prop up Halloween Kills as this great fucking thing are not going to want to hear one single negative about it when this movie comes out. And I hope I don't have any negatives about it. I hope that I walk out of that movie and I go, holy shit, I'm turning on the camera right now and I'm telling everybody how fucking awesome this movie is. And I can't wait for Halloween Ends. That's what I want to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's what I want to happen. But I guarantee you, if I walk out of that movie and I give it the same type of review I gave Halloween 2018, where I said, hey, you know what? A lot of these things were great. Some of these things weren't. It's going to be the same situation as it was last year. It's going to be a barrage of fucking comments telling me I don't know anything about Halloween and I'm a hater and all this other bullshit. So all of that is all tied into this weird fanatic little franchise fan base that I've had mostly negative experiences with. So there. What's up, Mikey Mo? Did you ever see the movie Strangeland? I've seen pieces of it. That's the one with Dee Snider. I never saw the whole thing. I am curious to check it out, but it's never really been on my radar enough for me to stop and watch it. Max, hey Cody, longtime viewer, first time question. Out of the remaining MCU shows, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Miss Marvel, and Hawkeye, which are you looking forward to? Falcon and Winter Soldier by a country mile. That is the thing that I am very excited about, because the Captain America movies, namely Winter Soldier, are amongst my favorites, and I really want to see how those two characters go. The tone of it, the way that the trailer was, is just like the Captain America movies, so that's the one that I'm very excited for. A close second would be Loki, just out of pure curiosity, because it seems like that show would be the most wild fun, if any of them are. The other ones I honestly don't give a shit about, to be completely honest. I'm going to watch them, but if you're like, hey, you want a Hawkeye show? I'd be like, not really. You want a Miss Marvel show? Not really. So, thank you. Jake, congrats, man. Favorite scene in Raimi's Spidey trio. It's hard to top that train fight with Doc Ock, and then the ensuing thing afterwards where he has to stop the train. Like, that whole sequence is just incredible. But I will say, as kind of to be typical me and bring up something a little controversial, one of my favorite scenes is in Spider-Man 3, and it's when everybody calls him Emo Parker. When Emo Parker, it doesn't work. When Emo Parker confronts Harry and blows his ass up. That was a really fun scene, because it's Peter not being Peter at all and finally confronting him. And he's like, oh, look at little Goblin Jr. Like, stuff like that. That scene is awesome. Daniel Skinner, if you love Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow on the same level as your top 50 favorite horror films, where do you think you will place it on the list? Well, I don't love it that much, so I have no idea. Number 50, I guess. Sleepy Hollow's all right. That's one of the few Tim Burton movies that I could rewatch. It's still a little too Tim Burton for my taste, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a Tim Burton guy. That's as honest as I can be about it. So yeah, if I had to shove it in my top 50, it would be at 50. MJ Nation, have you seen the film Possessor yet? I liked it. Also, do you like the band Trivium? Also, congrats on 50K. You deserve it. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much. I have not seen Possessor yet. I actually need to. I'm going to make a point this weekend to watch it. I bought the Blu-ray, not realizing that there was an uncut Blu-ray, and everybody on my off the shelves video were like, "Dude, you should have bought the uncut one. Big mistake." And so I was like, "Well, son of a bitch." So I bought the 4K uncut, and I gave the Blu-ray to my dad. So I do have the uncut one. I don't know what the big major difference is, but when people are like, man, that's the one to watch, I listen to them. So I got that. I will watch it at some point this weekend. No, not a fan of Trivium. I don't hate them, but they're a little too Cookie Monster vocal for me. I really like Kill Switch Engage is about as far as I'll go into that territory. I need good vocals. And I don't know, when you get too far into the I can't stand it. So there was one album that they did, was it The Crusade, that was kind of very blatantly in the style of trying to be Metallica. That was the only album of theirs that I listened to in its entirety, because there was really no screaming on that one. And I don't know if they've gone back to that at all, but they quickly went back to the screaming, and I was like, okay, well, this is not the band for me. Fernando, did you get Tremors Arrow release? Congrats on 50K. No, because it's expensive as hell, and even though I can enjoy the first Tremors, I'm not that big of a fan of it. So I was not going to spend, what was it, like $60 on an Arrow release? So no, I did not get it. Ethan, congrats on 50K. You mentioned you're going to do a Blu-ray collection video. Looking forward to that. Speaking of Michael Bay, 6 Underground is great. I did not watch it, actually. Did not get a chance to see it. And yes, the Blu-ray collection video is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Very different. Very different. I'm very curious how long it's going to be. I'm going to try to just show the movies and maybe talk very, very briefly on a few of them. But if I get off on tangents and stuff like that, it's going to be a 9-hour video. 3C is a super nice person and really humble. I would subscribe to that statement. Say what you will about content, the person that makes the content, I am a fan of. You think we'll actually get blockbusters in 2021? I do. Maybe that's the optimist in me. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I would not put money down that we are going to be back in theaters before at least the middle of the summer. I don't know. I'm very uneducated as far as what's going on with this vaccine and what kind of testing they're doing and what percentage of Americans are getting it or what requirements are going to be coming around with that. So I really don't know where that's going to fit in with everything, but it just the way that life feels like it's kind of getting slowly back together. Unless there's some big major thing that happens, I would expect sometime July-ish we'll probably get similar to Tenet. We'll get something that's like, all right, welcome back. But I think a lot of things are going to be delayed again, and I think a lot of things are going to end up going VOD, much like a lot of the things in WB. All right. Why do you and Drum Dums hate each other now? I'm not going to get specific with this. I'm kind of tired of getting this question. 50K feels like a new chapter, so might as well say something to hopefully try to end the old chapter. I can't speak on whether or not Drum Dums hates me, and I don't hate him. It's not about hate. We were very close friends, extremely close friends. The guy really, really, really disappointed me with some actions that he made, with the way that he treated me and some other people. And it all got spun into some absolutely ridiculous public battle that should have never fucking happened because he refused to talk and refused to say anything. And we got painted as pariahs. That's about as far as I'm going to go with it. That should be as far as I need to go with it without having to get into personal stuff, which I am not going to do. He made some personal choices. He abandoned his friends, and he will not own up to it no matter who asks. Congrats, Cody. You deserve it. Have you watched the Exorcist series? I've seen Exorcist, but it's been a long time. I've seen Exorcist 3, which I actually liked better than Exorcist 1, for if memory serves me correct. But that's also been a very long time. And I saw whatever the hell that prequel was, it Dominion or something, that prequel to The Exorcist. And I don't remember hardly anything about it aside from the chick from Goldeneye was in it. So I have seen a number of these movies, but I have almost no memory of them. But thank you so much, Brooke. Like I said, that's a series that I get questions about a lot. So that's probably something that I will make a priority at some point this year to review those movies. Marshall Boy, Cody, the most authentic and truthful movie reviewer. Well, that's what I go for. So thank you. You wear your heart on your sleeve no matter who you piss off. Thanks for always being honest. I can always count on you for a genuine review. Look, my philosophy is if you're going to be on the internet and you're going to state your opinions, why not state your opinion? Like, there's so many people that I've seen that you can tell that they kind of fit their opinion into the crowd's cookie cutter and say things that everybody wants them to say, or they avoid topics that people don't want to talk about. And, certainly there's things that I won't talk about. Like, you're never going to see me talk politics or anything on here because that would be like jumping in front of a firing squad. But if I'm talking about a film, a creative property that I did not make and you did not make, why lie? Why sugarcoat? If I think it's awesome, I'm going to tell you it's awesome. I'm going to tell you why. If I think that it's garbage, I'm going to tell you it's garbage, and I'm going to tell you why. So I don't know. It amazes me. I love it because I love the fact that I get to be one of those guys that is known as the honest reviewer and the wear your heart on your sleeve no matter who you piss off reviewer. But it blows my mind how unique that appears to be. Like, that's weird that's one of my calling cards, that there's so many people online that just don't have that vibe about them. It's strange to me, but it's cool. I'll take it. AJ Daniels, congrats on 50K, my man. Is there a director who, outside of a few movies you like, you're not the biggest fan of? For me, outside of Batman and Beetlejuice, I'm not a huge Tim Burton fan. Well, you took my answer. There might be 2 or 3 Tim Burton movies that I like. Other than that, I really don't like his movies at all. And yeah, I can't think of another one. That's the perfect answer. So sorry to just piggyback off of your answer, but that is the perfect answer for me. Least favorite final girl in the Friday the 13th franchise. Alice is certainly in competition with that from the first movie. The chick from the 5th movie, and anybody from the 8th movie, because I don't remember any character from that fucking movie. But yeah, I mean, Alice, I think for a iconic movie like Friday the 13th, I think she's a garbage final girl. Yes, Richie works. So this is going back to a couple of questions ago. The mom getting pulled through the window at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street is a pretty bad practical effect. Yes, that is my answer to that question. Unless I think of a better one. That I love A Nightmare on Elm Street. Obviously, I had it in the top 5 of my my top 50. Spoiler alert. But the last 5-6 minutes of that movie, I think, really let the rest of the movie down. If the ending of that movie was on par with the rest of it, it would easily be like number 2 on my top 50 horror films. Like it would be a perfect horror film to me. But that ending, every time I get to it, I'm like, ah. As soon as like Freddy disappears, from that moment to the credits, I'm like, ah, God, this. And that effect is one of the reasons. It looks like you pulled a blow up doll through a window, and it takes me out of it every time. Let me scroll back down, make sure. Am I caught up? Maybe. Nope. It always seems like it's cleared out. Then I'm like, oh, no, there's 12 more. Nathan Oswald, in season 4 of Cobra Kai, do you think any of the kids will get killed? I doubt it. I don't think they're going to go that dark. That show is pretty... it wears its 80s cheese on its sleeve. And though it does get violent from time to time, I don't think anybody will die. I think that would be a major downer for the tone of the show. Matthew, congrats on the subs. Cool to see The Hitcher in your top 50 horror movies. Love The Hitcher. Very underrated in my opinion. Love this channel and your honest and unique perspective on things. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you so much, Matthew. And yes, if you have not seen the original Hitcher, check it out. And the remake's actually not bad. Robert Davila, unsure if you've ever been asked this, but would you ever do Game of Thrones reviews, like ranking the seasons or top 10 episodes? I don't think I've been asked that before, but I don't think I would be interested in it either. I watched Game of Thrones in like absolute binge mode the month that the last season was airing. And though overall I did enjoy the show, it was definitely work to get through it, because like a lot of HBO shows, it is very deliberately paced. It is very slow. There's a ton going on. It's epic in every sense of the word as far as taking its time to tell its story, with the exception of the last season. And I would have to rewatch that entire show to really do a ranking or review series or anything like that that would even be worth anything. Because if I tried to tell you right now a ranking of the seasons, I would maybe be able to remember 2 or 3 details to make those seasons stand out. I can tell you that my favorite season was the one with the Battle of the Bastards. And my second favorite season was, I think the very next season after that. So season 7. And I will say that I did not hate the final season like a lot of people did. Maybe it's because I wasn't as invested in the show as everybody that watched it for 8 years. But while thinking that they definitely rushed it a bit, and for that show that really felt weird because they've taken so long to tell every other story. Aside from that, I really didn't have any major issue with any of the big plot points of it. The people that turned bad and people that turned good, and who died and who ended up as the king. I was like, okay, makes sense to me. So I was kind of baffled when I got to the end of it. I was like, is this really that bad? Like, people made it out like it was the worst season of television ever. And I'm like, I think your excitement was just off the charts, and you should have managed it better, for a lot of people that felt that way. How much money would it take as a bribe for Tremors to be a part of 31 on 31? Because I want this to happen. For Tremors to be a part of 31 on 31, we would have to go back to creature features, because we tend to stick to themes for the horror ones. And I don't know how many more creature feature franchises I would want to spend time on. I think we nailed all of the good ones, and it was still half of the list was garbage type ranking. So I don't know. It might be a while before Tremors makes its way into there, but never say never. Congrats on 50K, dude. Thoughts on The Boys season 2? I actually have not watched it yet. Believe it or not, I really enjoyed season 1. Right around the time that I really started to kind of pound the pavement and try to get screeners, I had gotten a screener finally from The Boys from Amazon after like reaching out to so many people trying to get my name in the hat. And I really got genuinely pissed off about it because, not to sound like I'm ungrateful, because if they give me a couple of episodes, that's a couple of episodes that a lot of other people didn't get. But I was already seeing a lot of people that I know, a lot of people that are a lot less prominent on YouTube than I am, that have a lot less subscribers and a lot smaller of a following that I have, doing reviews in the full season because they were given the entire season to do. And after more or less begging and pleading and talking to a lot of people and just doing email after email, I finally got access and they said, here's the first 2 episodes. And I'm like, that is useless for me. I could watch them, but for what I'm trying to do for my channel and actually review and promote your product, that's useless because I'm not going to do a weekly review of the new episode every single week. So I'm not, you giving me this is not going to make my The Boys season 2 review any faster or easier or any more successful. So it was kind of useless. So I don't know. I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder for that for a little bit because it just annoyed me. And then time just got away from me after that. So I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I still have to watch The Mandalorian season 2 too. I'm not kidding when I say I've been busy as hell the past couple of months and have had almost no free time. So at some point, I will kind of exhale after 31 on 31 and this top 100 is done, especially. I'll be able to kind of breathe and catch up on some of these shows. And Mandalorian and The Boys is absolutely on the top of that list. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I'm trying to scroll slow so it doesn't jump all the way to the bottom and I lose anything that's already there. All right. So it looks like I'm down to 3 super chats. So that's good. Making progress. Okay. Les Grossman should roast Halloween cult weirdos. Yeah, I enjoyed putting those clips in that top 50. Oftentimes when I know something's going to be really funny, I'm laughing just as hard as everybody else. Patrick Redmond, congratulations on 50K, much deserved. How excited are you for Candyman? That's my most anticipated movie this year. And that's probably not very popular of an answer, but I'm very excited for that movie. I have all the faith in the world that it's going to be awesome. $50. Holy hell. Thank you so much, Az's cards, AZ's cards. I can never know how to flow that name out of my mouth. Congratulations on getting to 50K, Cody. Just want to say I truly appreciate your style because you make it seem like I'm watching one of my good friends just talk about something he's passionate about. Thank you for being you. Well, that's what I go for, so I appreciate it. Most of us, when we start movie reviews, when you start YouTube, you got the 2 bigs. You got Jeremy Johns, you got Chris Stuckman. Chris Stuckman tends to be the more intellectual, thespian, film student kind of perspective. And Jeremy Johns is kind of like the bro. He's the guy that, you would kick a beer back with and, talk about a movie. I try to find somewhere in the middle to be there, but I definitely lean on more John's style as far as just kind of just being casual. So I'm glad that comes across. Thank you so much for the $50. That's huge. Morgan, which seasons of Survivor have you and Holly watched? Do you have a favorite contestant? I have enjoyed your channel for 2 years now, so congratulations. Well, since I'm talking Survivor, let me get into Survivor mode here. So yeah, I bought these as a joke for Holly while we watch, and she really appreciated the joke. So maybe I'll keep this on the rest of the stream now. I've only seen 2.5 seasons so far. Well, 2 3/4 or something. I came in and she was already about a quarter of the way through South Pacific, the one that had Coach and Ozzy and Cochran and all of them. That was my intro to Survivor. After that, because I had heard so much about Russell Hantz, we watched Samoa, which was his first season that he should have won. And then we watched the season that Cochran won. I don't know the island, but the one where we watched that one, and then we watched what's the other one? So Fans versus Favorites was the one that Cochran won. And then we watched Redemption Island, where they kicked Russell off in like 5 minutes, which pissed me off, and Boston Rob won. And now we're about a third of the way through All Stars. So we're kind of going all over the place. We're not really having any rhyme or reason to what we're watching. But yes, which season of Survivor have you and Holly watched? So that would be Samoa, South Pacific, Fans versus Favorites. I don't remember the island, Redemption Island, and now All Stars. And she's watched a handful more than me. Favorite contestant is Russell. I'm sorry. I like the dude a lot. I know he's a polarizing thing that people either love or hate him. I love the guy. I think he's fucking awesome. He's ruthless, and he definitely, he said some things like on the little interview cameras that certainly weren't respectable, but the way that he played the game was just a badass. And I have not watched Heroes versus Villains, which is the other season that he was on. Holly's already seen it, so I haven't really wanted to watch that one yet because I know she's already watched it, and I didn't want to okay, you watch this and pretend you don't know what's going to happen, but she really wants me to watch it, so we might watch that one next. Yeah, so little Survivor chat, and I think I'll keep this on the rest because this is comfortable. But yeah, I had bought this one, and I bought one for her, and I put it on, and I wore my beanie over it and sat down on the couch, and I pulled it off, and I was like, what do you think of this? And so it was kind of funny. And I'm almost caught up. All right. CBMF, are you excited for Doctor Strange 2, and how much horror do you think will balance out the superhero stuff with Sam Raimi at the helm? I am morbidly curious about it. I won't say I'm excited yet until I see more from it and until I know for a fact that Sam Raimi is actually going to stay with it, because it seems like Kevin Feige and them really like to have a template for what they want, and you have to follow this. You have to be within this guideline, and then after that, you can get creative. And I just don't see Sam Raimi, of all people, falling into that. I kind of feel like he would be like Edgar Wright and be like, the hell with you. I'm making my own damn movie. So I don't know. I have a little bit of cynicism that maybe he might end up leaving the project, but unless it's already filming, and I just am unaware of that. But I'm very curious. I don't think there's going to be a lot of horror. I just don't feel like, I think if you're making like a pie graph, maybe 30% horror tops. Other than that, it's going to stay pretty Doctor Strange, weird superhero stuff. But yeah, I'm very curious what that's going to be. Congrats, Cody. I'm a mega fan of the Tales from the Crypt series. Are you a fan? If so, what are some top episodes would you like to see you make a top 10 list? I've actually never seen any of the Tales from the Crypts. It was really big when I was a kid, and I was too young to really watch it. Not that I wasn't allowed to, but I just didn't have the interest for some reason. I did love Demon Knight, though, the movie. So who knows? If it's something that, like, if they put that on Netflix or something and I can kind of watch through it, that would be something like a throwback thing that would be fun to do. Is that the last one? I think it might be. Nope, it's not. Uncle Sean again. Dude, you're awesome. Congratulations. What is your favorite movie to introduce to people? I love to introduce people to Warrior. Everyone go watch Warrior. Oh yeah, where's my Saw 5 review? It's coming. It's coming. I was talking at the beginning. I already have plans in place for Saw. I'm just a little bit nervous to start it again because I definitely want to have it paced with the release of Spiral. And I believe that's supposed to be coming out in what, April or May? Let me double check. Why am I looking at my phone? I got a computer in front of me. Bonehead move. Spiral release date May 21st, and they're already talking about everything pre like June possibly getting pushed again. So I don't know. Spiral to me seems like a movie that's a no-brainer to go to VOD or do a dual release. So I don't know. I'm going to give it another month, like maybe the end of February, beginning of March. I'll start cranking out the Saw reviews, because then it would be March, April, May, and it would be Saw fever. And then if they delay it again, I can still do it and it won't be quite as bad. A movie that I love to introduce people to is Rudderless. Rudderless is the movie that 99% of people that I talk to have never even heard of, but it's so incredible, in my opinion, that it's like, it blows my mind why that movie is not more popular or bigger than it actually is. It's like this weird unknown movie that just kind of came and went, and hardly anybody saw it, hardly anybody knows about it. And like, as far as like, Warrior is very similar in the sense that there's just such big, gigantic emotional stuff in that movie that if you love it, it just hits you to your core and it sticks with you. And you just have these big moments, even when you rewatch it. Like when you rewatch Warrior and you get to the point where they're having the montage with the Mozart or whatever the hell was playing in the background. It's kind of retooled. Like those are like big emotional moments where like you get pumped watching it, even if it's the 10th time. Rudderless is one of those movies where it's just, no matter how many times I watch it, the emotional moments still get me. The music's incredible. The acting's incredible. The story that they're trying to tell is great. So that's one that I need to do a review for it. I need to make that happen. But that's one that hardly anybody that I've ever talked to knows it. But everybody that watches it, that after I've recommended it, loves it. Like Woody, the guy that does all of my graphic design, Woody Bowen. I told him about it because he loved Yesterday so much. And I was like, dude, if you liked Yesterday, you will love this. And I told him to watch Rudderless, and he became like infatuated with it for a couple months there, where he was literally inviting people to his house to watch it. He did a whole painting of the characters. And that's the type of movie that it is, where I'm like, how do people not know about this? Do you watch Double Toasted? I do. I've watched those guys ever since they were spill.com. I love Corey and the gang. I got a direct message one time, or actually it was a comment of a guy that was claiming to be one of their producers and said that Corey wanted to do an interview or something, or a collab, or have me as a guest or something. And I tried to look into it. To this day, I still don't know if that was real or not. And maybe that just, I couldn't get through to the guy, or if that was somebody trolling me, but it seemed like a weird thing to do, to troll me and be like, hey, I work for this. But yeah, I love Corey Coleman and everything that he does. I'm jealous that Sean has seen him in the flesh. Francisco, congrats, Cody, on 50K. Any chance you'll play Resident Evil 2 on your Twitch stream? I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll do some Resident Evil stuff. I don't know, but the PS5 is what I stream from, and I don't know if I can play Resident Evil 2 on the PS5 or not. I haven't tried putting any PS4 games aside from Cyberpunk. So I'm not sure. I'll give it a shot at some point. How do donations work? Like, do you have to have a PayPal? It's whatever you have linked to your Google account. So Google Pay, PayPal, anything like that. It's linked to your YouTube and Google account. Am I caught up? I am caught up. Warrior is overrated, just a Rocky ripoff, but with MMA. I could not disagree more with that statement, sir. Assuming that's a sir. Zagba. I apologize if that's a ma'am. But you could say Warrior is overrated and leave it at that, and I'll be like, okay, to each their own. I don't find that movie to be a Rocky ripoff at all. I don't think they have any correlation whatsoever. On one hand, you have the underdog story of a guy who's understandably unsuccessful in just about every way, and then gets his shot, and then suddenly he gets his woman, and it's all about him rising to the occasion and going all the way. And it's about, even though he loses, it's still a victory for his character. Warrior is about a broken family, and you got one guy who stuck around for love and has this broken relationship with his ex-alcoholic father. You have another guy that left that toxic ass family situation, had to endure the death of his mother, had to go off to war, and is coming back a broken man. And it's about those two people clashing and healing together at the same time through this MMA through this MMA competition, as well as healing their relationship with their father. So I don't see the correlation at all between Rocky and Warrior, aside from it's a fighting movie, and that's very surface level. Oh, here, Sean's chiming in. It doesn't tell that same story as Rocky at all. The only comparison is that it's a movie with people punching each other. Hey, look at that. Me and Sean, man, we got that mind meld. Just out of curiosity, I know this is for Sean, but I'm going to answer it anyway. Just out of curiosity, would you want a Toy Story 5 or would you say end things with 4 now? I still wish they would have ended it with 3. I know that there's some people, and I think Sean especially, really loved 4. I've watched it a couple of times, and though I've grown to enjoy it, I prefer the way they left things at 3. To me, that was a more satisfying ending for everything. I didn't need the extra ending for Woody that they gave in Toy Story 4. It was a little too bittersweet for me. So I don't think I really want a Toy Story 5. I think I've had enough Toy Story, and I love Toy Story. But yeah, I think 4 I didn't even really need. Plan on catching up on the whole Arrowverse eventually. Well, I've only experienced maybe a quarter of what the Arrowverse has to offer, and I can just tell you, you're in for a lot of pain from what I've gathered from the collective of humanity. Oh, let's see. Nope, they're both about people that are essentially down and out. Plus, both sets of characters from Rocky and Warrior like fighting. Again, I totally disagree. I don't see the correlation at all. When Pixar does original movies, they are incredible, but give me a Monster Inc. 2. It's been almost 20 years. I would watch a Monsters Inc. 2. I waited a long time for The Incredibles 2, and I loved that. But they also do very good stuff when they get away from their famous franchises. Jack Nicholson now or 1974? Bet you didn't think I knew that one, did you? Opinions on Men in Black. It's fun. I really like Men in Black. I don't like the second one at all, and I have a lot of fun with the third one that it seems like people really don't care for very much. But the first one's a classic to me. That's one of the first like big Will Smith movies, and I think it's very rewatchable. I think it's aged very well. It's a fun movie. Blue Corner, Sony is down to only a handful of PS4 games that can't run on PS5, and RE2 isn't one of them. All the double negatives and everything are confusing me there, Dennis. I'm not sure if you're saying it does play or it doesn't, but I will give it a shot regardless. Did I just see 50K subs? Congratulations, my man. The Descent Part 2. What are your thoughts? I watched it recently, still don't like it. Thank you so much. I've only seen it once. It's been a very long time. There was things about it that I liked. You could tell that the director was not nearly the caliber. You could tell that the tone and the effects weren't as good. The problem with the Descent Part 2 is that you have to buy into the theatrical ending. And the theatrical ending is not nearly as good or as impactful or works as well for the movie that they're telling as the director's cut ending, which is a lot more bleak and grim. And so if you watch The Descent Part 2 and you prefer the director's cut ending, then you're already kind of behind the curve because now you have to accept the lesser ending in order to continue the story. I do like if you go on, it's kind of like an Elseworld story to me. If you want to go down that Elseworld path and say, okay, we're going to go follow this ending, I do kind of like the way that they wrapped up The Descent Part 2 as a continuation of that ending. But I have not seen it in a very long time, so I don't know if that has changed or if that is still accurate, but I saw it once and I went, okay, that's a decent way to end things. Will you do a review of The Exorcism of Emily Rose? I don't have any plans to. Never say never, though. What are your thoughts on Matt Damon being in Thor: Love and Thunder? Do you like Damon as an actor? Favorite movie of his? The Martian is my favorite. I don't really have any feelings one way or the other about him being cast. He had a small cameo in, was it Thor: The Dark World? Um, I don't know if he's just playing the same character and it's going to be a glorified cameo again, or if it's like a major role. But yeah, until I see the story or a trailer, or I have an idea of what character he's playing, it's impossible for me to really get excited about it. Matt Damon's awesome. Thor's awesome. I'm sure they'll be awesome together. Favorite movie of his? Probably, I mean, The Martian is awesome. Of course, the Bourne movies are great. Let me see. Good Will Hunting is great. Make sure I'm not missing an obvious one. Elysium, I actually really like that movie. A lot of people hate it. I don't get it. I think it's actually better than District 9. I have a lot of fun with it. And The Departed. That's the answer. The Departed is my favorite movie with Matt Damon, and that would not have come to my mind for some reason because I think of that more as a Leo DiCaprio movie. But yes, The Departed is by a country mile my favorite movie that he's ever been in. Let me see here. What's going on, Archie? Do you know the vampire movie Subspecies? No, I've actually never heard of it. Is that an older movie or a newer movie? What will happen if Scream Factory releases a box set of Nightmare on Elm Street franchise? I will lose my shit because it's about damn time. They have to at some point. I don't know if there's a rights issue with that or if there's something weird going on where they don't have the licensing. I don't know how all that works, but there's got to be a reason why we're still stuck with that garbage ass Nightmare on Elm Street box set, the little single clamshell. I hate it. And we need it. There's so many other like lesser franchises that have gotten the Scream Factory love with these great box sets, and Freddy's still sitting over there. He's the only one of the big three now that doesn't have any love. Oh man. Oh wow. Did Mother Mayhem just give me a super chat? I think John might have grabbed her phone and accidentally hit a button. I'll get to you in just a second there, Lindsay. Thoughts on Anaconda 97 from Maurice the Beast. Maurice the Beast. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I honestly have no memories of it, aside from the scene where John Voight literally gets swallowed by the thing. So I don't know. I don't really have any updated thoughts. Sorry, man. There it is. Fuck you, Cody Leach. Trademarked. Congrats. Congrats. Say hi to our wife for me. Won't let me swear in a super chat. Yeah, I've had that happen a couple of times with CP where I try to put something. Now you have to use like symbols and hashtags. I will say hi to our wife whenever she comes home. For those that don't know, I'm in an endless battle for my wife's love between me and Lindsay. And some days I'm not on the winning side. Came out in 1991. The vampire character name is Radu. It's pretty good, though. Interesting. Do not watch Subspecies. Oh, my God. That series destroyed a part of my soul. Uh-oh. I'm getting mixed messages here. Do you think James McAvoy could play Freddy Krueger? I think James McAvoy could play anything that he wants to. That guy's incredible. Do I want him to play Freddy Krueger? No. I've said this a few times, and people think I'm crazy when I say it, but I don't want any A-list actor playing Freddy Krueger. I don't even really want a B-list actor playing Freddy Krueger. I want somebody who's mostly unknown. Like, who knew who the fuck Bill Skarsgård was before he played Pennywise? That's kind of what I want. I think that, Robert Englund was unknown before he was Freddy Krueger. And I feel like when you have an iconic character like Freddy Krueger, the problem becomes they want to excite everybody with this big name. Leo DiCaprio has signed on to be Freddy Krueger. That gives us legitimacy. And though that does work to excite people, the problem is when you get an actor that you know and that you recognize and that you already have like this visual relationship with, they can never truly become a character like Freddy Krueger. Like, everybody was throwing out Kevin Bacon a while back, and I love Kevin Bacon, and I think he does especially well in horror. And there's a part of me that would love to see what he would do with the character. But when I see Kevin Bacon in Freddy Krueger makeup, I'm going to see Kevin Bacon in Freddy Krueger makeup, not Freddy Krueger. Whereas if you get somebody that's unknown, that is talented as hell, and has a passion for the character and goes into that makeup, they will become the character, provided the movie's good. They will become the character. You're not going to be distracted with it. Like, what was that movie that came out last year with Kevin Bacon? Came straight to VOD, and I thought it was terrible. It's like Never Look Left or some bullshit like that. I don't what the fuck was it called? You Should Have Left. So in You Should Have Left, there is a character in the shadows with a gravelly voice and some makeup prosthetics on his face that is Kevin Bacon. And it was confusing to me why they had Kevin Bacon play two different characters in the movie, but that's a whole separate issue. But when you have Kevin Bacon playing this character that's older and grizzled and has a gravelly voice and has makeup on, and I see right through it, and I just say, that's Kevin Bacon. And it's weird that it's Kevin Bacon. It's distracting that it's Kevin Bacon. That right there told me that everything that I've ever said regarding this issue is absolutely true, at least for me, is that if you put an actor like that I know, I'm never going to see Freddy. I'm going to see Kevin Bacon playing Freddy. So no, very long-winded answer to your simple question, but I really don't want anybody that I recognize playing Freddy Krueger. I think that they need to start from scratch with somebody that is new, up and coming, that has passion for it. Oh, Mikey Hartley. First sex scene in a horror movie that made you feel funny. It wasn't a sex scene, but the first like scene in a movie that like made me like, I think I like girls. It was why am I blanking on her name? Salma Hayek in From Dusk Till Dawn. So I was 6 years old in the movie theater, and they start, and she just comes out with that snake, and I was like, so that's always been one of those scenes where I'm just like, oh yes, the early beginnings of puberty right there. 6 years old. Walton Goggins is Freddy. That's closer. I know Walton Goggins, and I love Walton Goggins, so I would still see Walton Goggins, but there is something. He's still on the more unknown level, and there is something about the way that guy gives a performance that I'm fascinated to see what he would do with the role. That's one of the few exceptions where I was like, all right, give him a shot. I will literally send you my Subspecies DVD set. I don't want it back. Burn after watching. I don't know if that means that it's garbage or if like it just was an emotional wreck for you because somebody died. I don't know. I don't know how to take it, Lindsay. I don't know what that means. Can you do a 31 on 31, including Middle Earth, Wizarding World, Indiana Jones, and Star Wars? I don't think that would add to 31, does it? 4 Indiana Jones, 6 Middle Earth, so that's 10. What is there? 8 Harry Potters, 18. You might have something on your hands there. I'll have to look into it and see if that adds to 31. Hopefully you did your math before you asked me that question. But I already had an inkling of an idea to do Middle Earth and Harry Potter, but I didn't know what to pair it with. So interesting idea, Jacob. Interesting idea. The last Child's Play did that with Mark Hamill. Well, I didn't really hear Mark Hamill. That wasn't distracting because it was voice acting, and that wasn't like Mark Hamill's a voice actor, so he does a lot of different voices. So they did that as far as like throwing a big name out there for like credibility. Yes, absolutely. Cody, what are your thoughts on the Tomb Raider games? I did not play. I take that back. I played the first game for PS1, but I always got stuck after the T-Rex, and I could never figure out where the hell to go. So I stopped playing it. Didn't really enjoy it all that much. And I remember I played Tomb Raider 3 on like a demo disc, like one of those old Domino's pizzas or Pizza Hut pizza demo discs. Aside from that, I never played any of them until this new like reboot trilogy. And I love those games. Like the Tomb Raider, the first one especially, I thought was just an awesome reinvention of that character. It took just enough influence from Uncharted, which took just enough influence from the old Tomb Raider games. So yeah, the first Tomb Raider I thought was like a 5 out of 5, like one of the best ever games. Rise of Tomb Raider, I didn't feel quite as high on it. And Shadow of Tomb Raider, I actually have not finished, but I've had a lot of intention to go back and play it. I don't remember what happened. I think that was one of those weird release schedules where they dropped Shadow. I played the hell out of it, and something bigger came out. I think it was God of War, maybe. And then I just became obsessed with that. And then it was months later, and I kind of forgot to go back. Should Tom Hiddleston play Freddy Krueger? Nope. Nope. Uncle Sean again, man. You're being too kind, Sean. Truly, congratulations. It's been great getting to know you over the internet. I frequently forget that we've never actually met in person. It is weird, isn't it? Like, it feels like we have, because we've done so much and we've talked so much, and even like outside of internet, like videos, like just the chat. Like we were in a group chat for like literally like 3 years where it was every day, and then we kind of all after Jeff, I think, was the big one that we kind of went our own separate ways to a degree as far as that chat goes. But yeah, I look forward to one day shaking hands and giving Uncle Sean a big hug. I'm sure at some point it'll happen. But yes, it's been awesome getting to know you too, dude. You're one of my very best friends, along with my autopsy stream knuckleheads. And as much as some people like to say that internet relationships aren't the same as real relationships, I beg to differ, because Sean Chandler, Lindsay, Brian, CP, Durbin, these are people that I would do damn near anything for. And there's a lot of people that I see every single day that I would not say that for. Sean has entered the chat. Sean's been here for like 45 minutes. Oh, I've been here for like an hour. Get out of my head. Favorite scene from the Planet of the Apes franchise? Any scene from Dawn. Any scene from Dawn. Like that whole Matt Reeves trilogy is just the shit. I like the original Planet of the Apes movie for what it did, and it's a cool movie to revisit, but I'm not really particularly a fan of the franchise of the old Planet of the Apes franchise. I watched them all once. I ranked them once. They're not movies that I would necessarily go back and watch again. That Matt Reeves trilogy is one of my favorite trilogies, if not my favorite trilogy of all time. I love it. And Dawn is my favorite of those. So Dawn, I mean, there's so many in Dawn. Like when the humans first show up and go, when the apes first show up at the humans play, when they're telling them about it, and all of a sudden there's this whole army of apes on horses. Apes do not want war. And the whole fight with Koba at the end. Caesar weak, Koba weaker. That whole movie, I want to watch it now. Love that movie so much. There's so many from that trilogy. Let me see. Mike, thoughts on the Assassin's Creed series? They have made way too many of them and way too close of a succession. I played the first game. I was very excited about the concept. I thought the first game was a complete dud. Ubisoft tends to do that. They tend to have like a really cool concept. They usually shit the bed on the first game and then make an awesome sequel. And Assassin's Creed is of no exception to that. Assassin's Creed 2 was the first game that I loved enough to keep playing, and I got the first platinum trophy. I loved Assassin's Creed 2 so much. And I did like the 2 after that, like the Ezio trilogy. They definitely got redundant, but I liked Brotherhood. I liked Revelations. Then you had Assassin's Creed 3 that I was very excited for. That to me was a giant disappointment. You had Black Flag. By then, I was kind of getting a little bit bored with the franchise. I only played maybe a third of that game, kind of got bored with it. Never played Unity, never played any like the PSP or PS Vita games. I played Syndicate for maybe 2 hours, got bored with it. I let it go for a while. Then they had Origins that was in Egypt. I was like, all right, I'll jump back in. I'll give it a shot. Played that for maybe 5 hours, got tired of it. Didn't even bother with Odyssey. I did play Valhalla, though, and beat Valhalla. Valhalla is the game in the Assassin's Creed series that I have enjoyed the most since 2. It's still not a perfect game. I still think that they ended the story in a very weak way. Didn't really satisfy the singular story of the game. They're just like, all right, see you next time. But the gameplay I had a lot of fun with. The combat was brutal and badass and gory, and I loved it. I thought the characters were pretty cool. I liked the exploration and some of the side quests and stuff. So I've kind of dipped back into it. But to me, Assassin's Creed, if you want my overall review of the series, fantastic concept, very mediocre execution. What about Tom Holland as Freddy Krueger? Hey, if they cast him now, they can make like 20 of them, right? I know you haven't played the games, but you should play Mortal Kombat 9, X, and 11 just for the story. If they give us a movie like that, it'll be epic. I did play Mortal Kombat X. Um, Mortal Kombat 9. Is that the one that was just called Mortal Kombat? Because I played that one as well. But Mortal Kombat X, I don't know. Like the story was okay. The problem with me is that I just don't really enjoy fighting games. It just doesn't do anything for me. I've tried like I liked Injustice Gods Among Us. That was fun because I liked the story of it, and that was kind of a fun twist on Mortal Kombat playing with DC characters. But fighting games to me just aren't my thing. I like games with story. That's my big thing with games. Like when you give me something like Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War that has this emotional epic story that I like, just like a movie you get sucked into and you can't wait to see what happens next. That's what I love the most about games. That's my type of game. And Mortal Kombat's not really that for me. Like fighting games in general are just like couch things. Like you have your brother come over, they play for a little while, you fight each other, you do 3 rounds, you're done. And I just get bored with that very quickly. So yeah, I didn't buy Mortal Kombat 11 because I didn't really get into X that much. And it seems like their big gimmick with Mortal Kombat now is just dumping a ton of movie characters in and you have to pay for all of them afterwards. And I'm kind of I don't know, I still kind of give the middle finger to DLC a lot of times. I've lived in Georgia my whole life. I've never heard of the town you live in. Is that near Savannah? It is. It is near Savannah. It's what they call Greater Savannah area. Are you big on Killer Clowns? Not really. It's okay. I did a full review for it. I had a Patreon request for it. It's a good like gateway drug movie. Like if you have somebody that's like, I'm not really into horror, but I kind of want to start getting into horror. What should I watch? That's one that I would suggest. It's goofy. It's got some fun aspects to it. It's not really all that scary unless you're terrified of clowns. That's one that's innocent enough. Like that's a horror movie that's perfect, I think, to introduce to kids. Depending on your parenting style. Some people think kids cannot handle horror until they're teenagers. Some people, like my parents, like here, you're 4 years old, it's Chucky time. But if you're somebody that thinks your kids can handle horror and you kind of want to test the waters, I think that's a perfect movie for that. But if you're asking me as an adult that watched it for the first time as an adult, if I really love it, not really. Andy Serkis was robbed from an Oscar for playing Caesar. I agree. It's difficult because there's not like a voice acting or motion capture category. And if there was, Andy Serkis would win every single time he was in a movie. But it is a shame that the Academy was just so behind the curve on that like they didn't even like recognize it. They didn't even know how to recognize it. Should have easily gotten a nod for Best Actor for me. So I'm with you with that. To me, that is still acting. That is still a performance. It's different, but it still counts. Plan on seeing the fan film Charles. Yes, I plan on watching it at some point. I haven't covered it at all. Like I'm starting to get a little bit gun shy about promoting independent material, promoting fan films, independent films, short stuff like that, because I'm just starting to have a lot of bad experiences with it. Vince from Never Hike Alone is the only positive experience that I've had thus far with a movie that I have promoted heavily. I've had bad experiences where somebody asked me to promote something, I don't really like it, then they get pissed that I don't like it, and it's like, well, what the fuck did you want my honest opinion for? And I don't even really like giving a negative opinion on something that somebody poured their heart and soul into independently. If you're a studio movie and you put millions of dollars into it, it's open season on your ass. But if it's somebody that did a crowdfunding or they did on the weekend, like Christopher Nolan with Following, that was like their passion project, I feel a little bit shitty if I'm like, I don't like it. But I had somebody that literally, like, they without me ever asking, they paid me. They're like, here's money, please review my independent film. And I watched it, did not enjoy it at all. I did my best to dance around it by not doing a full review and just kind of covering it on Evil Live. And they got wind of it. Somebody else in the community gave it a full-on bad review, and they were just sending hate their way and sending people over there to downvote their channel and leave shit comments. And then I kind of jumped into the argument because I was like, dude, that's not how that's not how this works. You don't ask people and literally pay people for an opinion and then get pissed if it's not the most glowing thing in the world. That's what a criticism is. If you think your shit's perfect, then don't bother asking anybody. Just go on thinking that it's perfect. So I've had that experience. I had another fan film that I promoted pretty heavily that I got rubbed really the wrong way upon release because of how, I won't get into specifics, but I felt like I really got slighted once the promotion was no longer needed. And so I refused to even review the film. So I've just had a lot of bad experiences with that. Plus, you review a fan film and all of a sudden 30 of them come into your inbox and it's like, review mine, please. And it's just like, no. So I haven't done any promotion for Charles, which people probably think is ridiculous because I'm a Child's Play fan. Arguably one of, if not the biggest Child's Play fan on YouTube. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it is and checking it out. Yes. And if I do enjoy it, I will do a review, but I'm not going to promise anything because if I don't enjoy it, I'd rather not. Oh, what do you think of Jaws 3? Well, you are in luck because I have a whole video on creature features called 31 on 31 creature feature. It's me, Willis Greedia, Brian Lomax, and Uncle Sean Chandler. We all did one, and Jaws 3 is included on that list. So you will find my thoughts very early on in the video. So go check that out. Who's your favorite Breaking Bad character, but you can't pick Walter White because that's too easy? Easy. Mike. If I can't pick Walter White, it's got to be Mike. Mike is awesome. And there's a ton of characters that I love in that show. So that tells you something when it's that easy for me to just pick out Mike. Before Better Call Saul came out, I was like, if they're ever going to do a spinoff, they got to do a Mike show where they talk about his past as a police officer or detective, whatever they said that he was, and showing how he got with Gus. Like, that would be fascinating. And then luckily Better Call Saul turned out to halfway be that. It's half Jimmy's story and half Mike's story. So yeah, Mike is a badass. I love that guy. I love the character. I love the actor, Jonathan Banks. Mike is the shit. Let me see here. Hey, Cody, congrats on 50K. I'm curious on your opinion about Avenged Sevenfold. Personally, they are my favorite band of all time. I like them. I don't love them. Kind of the same problem as Trivium that I was talking about earlier, where Avenged Sevenfold has a lot of throaty stuff. But they've kind of gotten away from that a little bit. I loved Hail to the King as an album because it's more straightforward and not so much theatrical. And a lot of people, Avenged Sevenfold fans especially, for some reason don't like that album. So I guess that's not a popular opinion, but I love that album. I really liked their self-titled album. Nightmare had a couple good songs on it. And then after that, I've yet to hear anything from them that I liked. They had that was like the show or something, that album that they just dropped out of absolutely nowhere. I listened to the whole thing and didn't like any of it. And I don't know if they've done anything since, but yeah, I like some of their stuff. They're not a favorite of mine. If you could go on a date with any final girl from a slasher movie, who and why? This is going to get me in trouble because my wife is not watching, but right about now would be the time that she would click on and see me answer this question. Okay. Pre-married dating Cody, back when I was a single man. Get back into that headspace. If I could go on a date with any final girl from a slasher movie, who and why? Jessica Biel from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, because she is fucking gorgeous and she's a cool character aside from the annoying shit that she does that gets people killed. So if I'm going for lust, that's the answer. If I'm going for somebody that I actually want to like hang out with and have a conversation with, either Nancy or Kristen from Dream Warriors. For similar reasons as Jessica Biel. But yes. Interesting question. Interesting question. Do you like the story for Red Dead Redemption 2? I never finished it. I only got maybe halfway through it. I'm really burnt out on Grand Theft Auto style games. I'm just sick of playing them. I'm tired of games that kind of take that concept and that's falls into that category. So I can't really speak on the whole story. The story was the only thing keeping me going with that game for the amount of time that I did play it. Do you think Ryan Gosling is good casting for the Wolfman reboot coming from Lee Winnell? Ryan Gosling's an awesome actor. Depending on what the concept is for the Wolfman, yeah, I don't have any problem with that. He's a guy that picks some weird projects sometimes, but he's a great actor. Let me see. I feel like there was a super chat that I missed. There was two of them. Who has the better one-liners, Freddy or Chucky? Chucky, because all of Chucky's one-liners for the most part are awesome, whereas Freddy's, some of them are awesome and some of them are cringeworthy. So yes, I would say Chucky's an easy pick for that one. Chucky's always been a one-liner character. Freddy kind of had to be forced into that. Dream Warriors, honestly, is the only like funny Freddy movie that I enjoy the one-liners in. Like Dream Master has a couple of them, but they definitely nailed it with one movie and one movie only. Oz's cards. Okay, I'll remember that. Thank you. When you have your background, what is that tower looking thing you have behind you? Talking about this. This is the Nakatomi Tower from Die Hard. And I have that in my review background, my digital background, because I like to have a lot of Easter eggs in that background, and they're mostly all horror, but I have Breaking Bad in there as well. So I had to have it there. Die Hard's my favorite movie, so I kind of wanted to stick something there. I wanted to make it look like it was a room that I created, like literally. So that's what that is. Glad you love the movie Insomnia. It's absolutely underrated. Robin Williams is my favorite actor of all time. It's a very underrated movie. It's easy to overlook it because Christopher Nolan quickly went on to doing gigantic things, be it the Dark Knight trilogy or just his huge concept movies. So it's easy to just put his simple little murder mystery remake and just kind of forget it. But that's one of my favorite Nolan films. I think it's pretty damn good. AJ Daniels, this is a suggestion, but maybe another 31 on 31 for DC and Marvel, this time for pre-MCU movies. So from Christopher Reeve Superman to The Dark Knight. Possibly. The tricky thing with 31 on 31 is that it's got to be franchises. I get a lot of suggestions sometimes. It's like, do your favorite remakes in 31 on 31. And I'm like, it's not that simple. It's not just simply, let's do a random ranking. It has to be a collection of franchises that just happen to add to 31. And sometimes that's a real bitch to try to get movies that line up that way. It's fun, but that's also kind of the double-edged sword of it. So if there is enough franchises of like classic stuff like Christopher Reeve Superman, Dark Knight, the Sam Raimi trilogy to do that with, then absolutely we'll do it. I just haven't really looked into it much. What's up with the bandana? Somebody was talking about Survivor earlier because I said that I started watching Survivor with Holly. That's kind of our little flavor of the month. And I bought this buff for me and one for her. So I switched wardrobes. What happened to the Punisher hat? It's like Indiana Jones. I can't see me without the hat. Favorite sitcoms. I'm not really a big sitcom guy, but my favorite of all time by far is The King of Queens. I've watched The King of Queens so many times. That is absolutely my comfort show. If I'm just like in the mood for something, whether it be background noise or whatever, I can throw on any episode of King of Queens and I'm instantly just comforted. I'm instantly at home. I feel good. I'm laughing. I'm enjoying it. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen it. It just, I love it. Congratulations on 50K. I've been following you since the beginning. I'm proud of you. Keep it up. And when Tremonti releases new material, you should do a song reaction. I'll be there. Interesting idea. Thank you so much, Johnny. Do you buy clothes from Buckle B? I don't know what Buckle B is. So no. Ever seen a movie that completely destroyed itself in the span of 10 seconds? Yes, I have. Alien 3. Let me see here. Oh, super chat. Jerry, have you noticed Tori from Cobra Kai last name changed from season 2 to 3? Any thoughts? I'm surprised no one has mentioned or caught it. I didn't even know that they gave her a last name, to be honest with you. So I don't know if that's actually a plot point or a screw up or they just didn't care. But no, I didn't notice it. Tori's not necessarily my favorite character, so I didn't pay attention to that at all. Do you like Boys in the Hood? I love that movie. Absolutely one of my favorites. I think it's like a 30-year anniversary or something this year. Might have to do a review for that if somebody can remind me when the hell that anniversary is, because I will quickly forget about it. Have you ever seen Green Inferno? It's a crazy movie. Yeah, it's okay. Didn't really do anything for me. It's Eli Roth's version of Cannibal Holocaust. I've never seen that one either. But it has all of the strengths and weaknesses of all of his films, pretty much, with the exception of Death Wish, which I'm in the minority of loving. But all of his like gory, shocking, torture porn type movies all are kind of the same hits and misses. It's a lot of gore. Characters aren't very good. Some really goofy writing. So yeah, I don't know. It didn't do a whole lot for me. There was some gross stuff in it. It was just like, okay, well, I'm literally watching this just to see how gross it is at this point. Menace to Society is better than Boys in the Hood. I would disagree with you, but to each their own. Bucklebee is a store in the mall where I live. Interesting. No, I've never shopped there. Have you checked out the film Sound of Metal and Whiplash? If so, what do you think? Also, do you like the bands Korn and Deftones? I absolutely love Whiplash. That was a giant surprise for me, and I love that movie. I would recommend it to anybody. I have not seen Sound of Metal. I've heard some good things about it, and I've had a screener for it for quite a while. And obviously now you can buy it or rent it or whatever. But I just haven't had a chance to. Like I was saying earlier, I've just had a lot of trouble finding time to watch movies or TV shows or anything. And that's one of them that I've missed so far, but I do want to check it out. Do I like the bands Korn and Deftones? I've never really been a Korn fan, and Deftones, I like what I've heard. I've just never really dove into them that much. They're very unique. They're not necessarily a band that I think would go to my favorites if I did check them out, because they kind of have a very certain groove to them, but I've heard a small handful of songs from them that I liked quite a bit. I've heard a few songs from them that didn't do anything for me, but there's probably 3 or 4. Now my nose is going to start itching. God damn it. I've had a few songs of theirs that I did like quite a bit. No, you're probably not into it, but have you ever played Beat Saber? I don't even know what the hell it is. So no. Ripley or Connor? For me, Sarah Connor takes the cake. Ellen Ripley is the shit, but I did a top 10 Final Girls video, even though some people won't consider Sarah Connor a Final Girl because they like to argue that The Terminator is not a horror film. And Sarah Connor is my number one. I love that franchise. I love that character. So, yes. Is there any review that you've done where after some time you have drastically changed your view of the film? Nope, this is not the channel for that. Might I suggest Drum Dums? Would you ever go on the Dead Meat podcast? I do not expect them to ever invite me because I don't think they have any idea who the hell I am. But if they invited me, I would do it in a second. I'm not trying to choose my words carefully so I don't get the 3C comments like I did earlier. I'm not a fan of the Dead Meat channel as in somebody that watches it continuously, but I do think that the guy is very charismatic. His success speaks for itself. He's the biggest horror YouTuber, one of the biggest movie YouTubers out there. And he's seems like a very cool, successful, knowledgeable guy. So I think that I would have a lot of fun talking to him. I'm just the kill count concept doesn't really appeal to me much because it's basically recaps. Why does my nose want to itch now? Now I look like I'm just fucking have a coke habit. So yes, I would jump at the chance to do that in a second. Long-winded answer again. On the same defense, it could be argued that Ripley isn't a final girl. She dies. Fair enough. She's a final girl for the first two movies. Let's see. 100. I don't know what that currency is, but thank you so much. Congrats on 50K. Been watching your channel since 2018. Your channel inspired me to become a horror fan. I always respect your opinions, regardless if I disagree or not. Keep up the awesome content. Well, that is how it should be. It always blows my mind how emotional people get about their opinions, especially when it comes to art like movies. You should always be able to respect somebody's opinion, whether you agree or not. If somebody comes to me and they say, hey, man, that movie you love, I didn't like it at all. It's easy. It's effortless for me to be like, well, I respect that. What did you not like about it? If you come with me with some bullshit, I might react a little differently, but you know, it blows my mind how many people it's like, yeah, you know, I think The Exorcist is overrated. What the fuck? You're an idiot. And it's like, oh, okay, whatever. Would you do a review for Judgment Night? Help get the word out for this sleeper gem. I would love to. I'm not going to promise it. Keep an eye out for my top 100 films of all time because that might make an appearance. I haven't done the list yet, but I love the shit out of that movie, so it might. But yes, for those watching, if you have not seen Judgment Night, it's got Emilio Estevez, it's got Cuba Gooding Jr., it's got Steven Dorff, it's got a very early, what the fuck is the dude's name from Old School? God damn it. Cheese, the guy that plays Cheese, and he's on Entourage. Jeremy Piven. A very young Jeremy Piven, and Dennis Leary is the bad guy. It's about four friends that are trying to get to this boxing match, and I believe Chicago. They take a turn off of the highway to take a shortcut, end up in a shitty part of town, and see Dennis Leary and his gang murder somebody, and then spend the rest of the night on the run. It's a fucking awesome movie. Awesome movie. And Dennis Leary plays an awesome villain. So if you've never seen it, look it up, check it out. It is awesome. Can I not say awesome enough in reference to Judgment Night? Let me see here. Where was I at? It just did the scroll thing. If you could meet any actor, who would it be? Honestly, if I could only pick one, it would probably be Arnold Schwarzenegger. As much as I say like Die Hard is my favorite movie, you would think I would say Bruce Willis, or you would think it would be a horror actor, actress, but Arnold Schwarzenegger was just such and his movies were just such an important piece of me and such an important piece of my childhood growing up. And I still continue to be just such a huge fan as an adult, that if I had the chance to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger, I would lose my fucking mind. So that would be easily my pick. Knock 100 translate to 117.89 US. Well, goddamn, that was a great donation there, my friend. So then, thank you so much. I wasn't sure what that currency is. Have you seen the horror series The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix? Very good series, but more philosophical than scary. Yeah, I watched both. I watched The Hill House, and then I watched Bly Manor. I did a review of Bly Manor. Hill House, I enjoyed it. It wasn't flawless to me. I didn't think that it ended as well as I thought it could have, but overall, I thought it was pretty damn good. Mike Flanagan is just the way that guy makes horror is what I feel like more horror filmmakers should do. Like, he definitely gets away from the cheap, easy scares and the easy surface level stuff. He goes a little bit more introspective. He goes for, building tension, slower scares, stuff like that. Like Dr. Sleep was fucking incredible. And so, yes, as a showrunner, I thought he did very good with that show. Wasn't as crazy about Bly Manor, but I still enjoyed it overall. And I guess supposedly now they might not do another one. I don't know if that's just like a, hey, I did too, I don't really want to keep doing this, or they saw the dipped response for Bly Manor. I'm not really sure, but yes, I saw it. Just dropped you a sub. Love the videos you made. My love for horror movies get a lot bigger. Keep up the good work. Awesome. Thank you so much. Never mind. One too many zeros. It's 11.89. I fat fingered it. I let myself out. Well, that's quite a bit different than $117, but still, I appreciate it. Samara Weaving was a great final girl. She's a newer one. I would have had dinner with her as well. Pre-marriage. Pre-finding Holly. Harrison Ford, no question. That's an interesting pick for you. I would have thought something else. I would have thought like Bruce Campbell or something like that. Or Kane Hodder. Or one of the men that you think are amazingly gorgeous that is interesting taste. What was it? The Jaws Revenge guy? I thought you said. I'm pretty sure you said something about the Jaws Revenge guy you had the hots for. Evan, congrats on 50K. Well deserved. Did you ever play Yoshi's Island for the SNES back in the day? I must have beaten that game at least 20 times and still love it. I want to say I did, but like I was saying in my my favorite video games from every year of my life video, I didn't have the Nintendo systems growing up, so I was really I had sample experiences with my cousin's system. So whenever I went to spend the night at his house, I would play for a little bit, and that was really all my experience was. So I remember playing it, but it couldn't have been for very long. How would you rank these bands? Holy shit, I got a list. Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, and Pearl Jam. Well, that's not so bad. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Also, I will check out Judgment Night. Sounds good. Awesome. How would I rank these bands? Well, Alice in Chains is an easy number one because they're like in my top 5 bands of all time. I love Alice in Chains. Right below them would be Soundgarden, and then Nirvana, and then Pearl Jam. I really don't care too much for Pearl Jam at all. They got a couple songs that I like, but they're my least favorite of the grunge bands. And I'm really not even that big of a fan of Nirvana. A lot of people like that blows their mind. I really don't care for Nirvana that much. The only song of theirs that I love is Come As You Are. I'm sick of hearing Smells Like Teen Spirit. I'm sick of hearing In Bloom. Sick of hearing Heart Shaped Box. Like, these are all songs that I just hear blow up the radio all the time, and I'm tired of them. So I'm not a big Nirvana fan. I'm a pretty casual Soundgarden fan, but I love Chris Cornell, so a lot of their stuff I really enjoy. But Alice in Chains, of those 4, is easily the one where I'm a fanatic. If Army of Darkness had the gore of the other Evil Dead films, would that possibly take your favorite of the franchise? No, because I mean, it's not the missing gore that is why it's my second favorite. The Evil Dead remake is just such a badass movie that has everything that I would want from a movie like that. That um, adding gore to it wouldn't change it. I mean, I think I would enjoy it more if it had gore for sure. The blood makes Evil Dead even better. So yeah, I love Army of Darkness. I never thought that missing gore was like a big flaw with that. Anybody here like the show Shameless? Me, I do. I'd never seen the original British show, but I love the American version of it. I have not watched this season at all. I thought last season was by far the weakest season that they've ever had by quite a bit. I think losing Fiona was a big hit to the show. So I'm hoping they're going to pull this through because this is their last season. But yeah, after this is over, I might do like a Shameless ranking or something like that, like ranking the seasons, because I've been a pretty big fan of the show all the way through. Breaking news, Ren McCormick to play Freddy. I don't know who the hell that is or where you're getting that information from. It's probably a joke. Cole Weaver, thoughts on Wolf of Wall Street? It's my top 5 favorite movies of all time. It is not in my top 5, but I love the hell out of it. It would be in my top 5 for Scorsese for sure. That's a damn good movie and hilarious too. Okay, there we are. Caught back up. Thoughts on Blade Trinity? Easily the weakest of the 3 on paper. A absolutely terrible movie, but I enjoy the hell out of it. It's a guilty pleasure for sure, but it is pleasurable. I think that was definitely like, I was already a fan of Ryan Reynolds back then. I know him from a lot of other movies that most people don't know him from. Like he was in a couple of old Disney movies. Like there was a movie called Tourist Trap with Daniel Stern, which good luck finding a copy of it anywhere, but they used to play it on Disney Channel and he was in it and I used to love it. And then Van Wilder came out. I loved him since then and a bunch of other stuff. So I was already a fan, but this was like, almost like his audition tape for Deadpool, like his character in this is he's going for that Deadpool thing. It's not quite as fine tuned as it is in Deadpool, but it's on that level of entertainment. And I like some of the other aspects. The thing about Blade Trinity, though, it's got the weirdest casting in the fucking world. Like when you look at the cast of that movie, you got Ryan Reynolds in there, which of course I love, and then Jessica Biel, that's cool. But you've got Patton Oswalt. You've got the chick from the American Pie movies playing a blind girl. You've got Parker Posey. You've got Triple H. Like it's the funkiest fucking cast for a action horror movie ever. Like you just get all these weird random comedians in there, and it's like, what are you doing? It's such a strange movie. If anybody told me I hate that movie, I would be like, I get it. You don't have to tell me why. I get it. But I love Blade. I love Wesley Snipes' Blade, and I will watch Blade Trinity and enjoy it. What's up, Cody? Congrats on 50K. Thank you, sir. Been with you since about 4K. How do you feel about the Harry Potter movies? I have only seen the first 2. I plan on rectifying that at some point. I feel like it's time. I'm not really a big fantasy guy, like Middle Earth, Harry Potter. I have almost no experience with those movies because it's just not really my thing. Orcs and elves and wizards and fairies. It's not really my thing. So I don't really get into it. I saw Sorcerer's Stone opening night. That was a gigantic deal when that first came out. And I read that book in grade school. So I was ready for it. And I really enjoyed that first movie. And I've seen it probably 2 or 3 times since. I watched Chamber of Secrets once, but I have absolutely no memory of it. So at some point here, like was suggested earlier with the 31 on 31, I would like to watch the Middle Earth movies and the Harry Potter movies and do some kind of a ranking with them or something because it's for such gigantic franchises. I think it's getting a little bit ridiculous that I still haven't seen them. Do you like A Place Behind the Pines? I have never seen it, but my buddy Tyler Tompkins has been pressing me to watch that movie for years now. So the fact that he loves it makes me think that I will probably enjoy it. Revolver is re-releasing Pantera classic albums on vinyl with alternate cover art in honor of the release. How do you think Pantera influenced metal? I'm not the best person to ask because I was not around to see how they changed it. But um, for me, like what makes Pantera stand out is absolutely the groove. Um, Dimebag Darrell, I can't say how celebrated he was as a guitarist before he died, because after he died, suddenly he was like tends to happen sometimes. It sounds shitty to say it that way, but like Heath Ledger, when he died, suddenly he was the greatest actor ever. That tends to be the thing in celebration of somebody's life. Suddenly people start to take notice. And so I don't know if his guitar playing was as influential or game changing as it's known to be post Dimebag Darrell. But when you pair him and what he did with his guitar work and his very specific tone that he got with his guitar playing with his brother Vinnie Paul on the drums, who's by far my favorite drummer. And I'm not a gigantic Pantera fan, but I love the way that guy just plays the drums and the way that he writes music with it. There's this very specific groove about it. That's this heavy, like chuggy beat that to me makes Pantera stick out. Philip Anselmo doesn't. I mean, he's a great vocalist, not the smartest guy or the most respectable guy in the world, but to me, he's not really what stands out about Pantera. It's about that duel of those two brothers and what they brought to the music. So I don't really know how they influenced metal as a genre, but that's what stands out to Pantera to me. I know you don't think too highly about the Rob Zombie Halloween films, but don't you like how Michael was like 6'5" as opposed to regular height? I think it makes him more scary and intimidating. Well, I am one of the very few people that you will have that really enjoys Halloween 2. People still like to hold that against me. But I do like his second movie. It's not perfect, but I do like it. The first film, I like the last third of it. I think the first third of it, where he's a kid, is almost unwatchable. I think the middle chapter where he's in the asylum is a missed opportunity. It's watchable, but there's so much more they could have done with it. And the last third of the movie, which is basically a quickened remake of John Carpenter's movie, is pretty entertaining. Do I like the fact that he's 6'5"? For Rob Zombie's movie, yes, because it's very exploitive and it's very like over the top, and that's the type of Michael you need for that movie. If you're just asking in general if I think a taller Michael works better than the original, no. Because the concept of Michael Myers as this force of evil, that makes it scarier and more effective to me that he's just a regular sized guy. Like when you watch the first movie, he's not like this big, tall, muscular dude. He's just a regular guy in a jumpsuit. Like an average guy could probably take that guy down under regular circumstances, but because he's powered by this force of evil, that's what makes him scary and effective as a character. He doesn't need the big, lurking, gigantic, wrestler size figure to him to get that point across, in my opinion. I've already met Bruce and Kane. 2, Harrison Ford looks like my dad. 3, Luke Evans would be in second, obviously. There you go. There's the other one. Do you like 3 Days Grace? I liked them when they were with Adam. I don't like them now. They were somebody that I kind of joined later on, like after their second album had been out for a while. I was in high school, and there was a couple of, it's going to be a long story. The guy that I was best friends with at the time, who I had a huge falling out with, and that's not a pattern for me, by the way, before anybody is a smart ass and says that, but I was friends with this guy, and his ex-girlfriend I was very cool with and was very good friends with, and she had a friend that she was kind of trying to set me up with for a while, so it didn't end up working out. But overall, the end of all of that backstory is that me and these 2 girls would hang out on occasion, and I really wanted to go see Alter Bridge, and I was trying to get people to go with me, and they didn't know Alter Bridge, but they looked online and saw that there was tickets for 3 Days Grace. So like, well, let's go see 3 Days Grace. And I didn't really know who the fuck 3 Days Grace was, but I was like, whatever, I'll go to come hang out with you. So I familiarized myself with 3 Days Grace. It was 1X, I believe, was their second album. or at least that's the album that I learned who they were with, whether it's their second or not. And I was like, these guys are pretty good. I've heard some of these songs on the radio. Like we've all heard I Hate Everything About You, but some of the songs in 1X I enjoyed. We saw them in Atlanta. They played a really good show. Eventually, Adam left the band, created Saint Asonia with the guitarist from Stained. I really love that band. But yeah, I like the old 3 Days Grace with Adam and his vocals and the writing style. I don't like the new singer at all. I don't like his voice. I don't think that the writing, it's so generic radio rock now. And they were always a radio rock type of band, but there was just something deeper about it with Adam. So yeah, I used to like them. I don't like them now. And I saw them live with the guy whenever he first kind of replaced Adam, and he did well live. But for some reason, studio wise, when I hear his voice on the radio, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It just doesn't work for me. Doesn't Alice in Chains have your favorite song? Yes, Nutshell by Alice in Chains is in fact my favorite song. Love that song. You might have a chance of getting contacted by DM. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Brooke, welcome back. Thank you again. When I asked my question, I meant the Exorcist TV series on Fox. I thought it was decent. Congrats again, and thank you so much for your genuine reviews and opinions. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy them. I haven't talked to you in a while, too, so I hope everything's going well. The Exorcist TV series I did not see. I heard it was good. I'm very, very skittish and hesitant about watching TV shows based off of rated R properties. I always feel like they're going to get watered down, so I was very gun shy about even ever giving it a chance. So yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe after I watch the movies, if I have a really good experience with the movies, I'll check out the TV series. Do you like the Beastie Boys? No, I do not. I'm not a rap fan at all. Like Sabotage, I like the music in it. I like the beat to it, but their voices don't do anything for me. And that style of music, that like rap rock hybrid, it's like a pine cone in my ass. It just does not work for me. Let me see here. Okay, I got a couple of super chats that I think I was missing. CBMF. Did I miss this one? No. CBMF, did you ever watch Evil Eye and Nocturne? I did not. Unfortunately, my move screwed that up. I planned on reviewing all 4 of those movies and ranking them, but I only got to watch the first 2. Doesn't help that they weren't very good. Black Box was okay, but The Lie was absolutely terrible. So I did not really... I did not have a whole lot of motivation to carve time out of my schedule during moving to watch and review those movies, so they kind of just fell to the wayside. I didn't hear anything good about either of them either from the people that I know that did watch them, so no, I did not check them out. Cody Leach, will you be on Robert Storm's channel again? I don't know. I like Robert a lot as a person. He does a lot of things like publicly it's almost like he wants to have this controversial figure persona to him or like reputation, like the whole Parasite thing. And there was some recent stuff that was going around Twitter, which, it did seem like maybe it was taken out of context. I didn't watch the whole video to research this whatsoever, but some comments that were made about, Zendaya or something like that. So I don't know. I'm a little bit worried for what that guy's future is going to be with his channel. Like I've known Robert for a long time, and I know people like to think the worst of him. He's genuinely a nice guy. I've never had any bad interaction with him. And I think that he does turn himself way up for those big controversial videos. So it's like he's playing a character to a degree. But I just don't know what the gain is in that. So I would be curious. I would be curious what his. I'm trying to think how to say it. I would be curious what he genuinely feels about all this controversy that he's been getting over the past year. So if he likes it, or if he's just kind of like, fuck it, I might as well own it, or what's going on. So I don't know. Like, if he invited me, my first inclination would be yes, because I like the guy. And I've enjoyed the chats that I've had with him, and I've enjoyed being on his channel a couple of times. But if he's in this gigantic clusterfuck that he's putting himself in with all these crazy comments and everything, it would be a little bit dangerous for me to be on there in the middle of all of that, because there's a lot of people on film Twitter that are from California, and they love that cancel culture bullshit, and I just don't want to get involved with any of that. I mean, there's a big part of me that's like, cancel this bitch, you're not canceling me. But the last thing that I would want is to show up on his channel as a friend and just kind of hang out and bullshit about something, and then somebody's like, oh, Cody Leach is affiliated with this and blah blah blah, and then I would have to defend myself saying, no, you don't know Robert. And I don't know. I like the dude a lot. I'll just say that. I like the dude a lot. I think that he portrays himself not in the best way, and I don't know what his motivation for doing that is. But I do think that he turns it up for like a character. I just don't think that it lands the way that he hopes it does. MJ Nation, do you like Eminem? Also, thoughts on Disturbed? I'm not a fan of rap whatsoever, so by default, I'm not a fan of Eminem, but he is one of the few rap artists that I can listen to and be okay with, because he has that artistry about them. Like when you listen to like some of like the old 90s rock, like Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac and everything, there's a certain artistry about it. They're trying to tell a story. There's more quality in that for me, and I can actually listen to and appreciate some of that stuff. When people play it at work, I'm like, okay, I can dig this. I can get through this. Some of it I don't like. Some of it I do like. Some of it's just I can get through it. I don't feel like I'm in pain right now. But when you listen to a lot of modern rap, that shit like grinds the fuck out of my gears. But Eminem is one of those guys that has that old classic vibe to him, where there's just a certain beat, there's a certain cadence to him, there's a certain artistry that I can appreciate, if nothing else. Thoughts on Disturbed? At one point, they might have been my favorite band, or they were certainly in the top 2 or 3. They're getting a little bit redundant for me. They're still very talented guys, and I would still go see them live, and I'll still check out every new album that they have. But right around 10,000 Fists, when that came out, I was a fanatic for Disturbed. I was like, this album is the shit. They took the style of the first 2 albums and kind of combined them and made the best thing yet that they've done. They followed it up with Indestructible, which to me was just as good, if not better. So right around that era, I was a huge fan. Then you had Asylum, which to me was where it started to sound kind of the same. It didn't have quite the same punch to it. Then they went away for a while. They came back with whatever album was after that, the one that had Sound of Silence on it, which was certainly more of a return to form, but still wasn't like on the level of 10,000 Fists or really their first 4 albums. But they were, somewhat back on top to a degree. And I was like, okay, I went and saw them live during that tour. Then you had, Evolution that just came out. Easily their weakest album to me. And I listened to it once and I'm like, okay, why is this called Evolution? Because it still sounds the same. The problem with Disturbed is that they have such a distinct style and such a distinct sound to them, from the vocals to the way that the lyrics come out, that everything starts to sound the same. It's the same problem that I have with Seven Dust. Love those guys and love some of their older music, but every album continues to sound the same to me because they just don't have enough room to really branch out so much. Disturbed even less so. They're in such a very narrow window with what they can do with their style that now, 6, 7 albums in, you're going to start to retread the same territory over and over again. So yeah, they're a band that I've kind of fallen out of love with a little bit. I still love their older stuff. Let me see. There's the next one. Most difficult question you've ever been asked: movies, music, video games. You can only have one for the rest of your life. Movies. It's not that difficult. Video game. Maybe it is a little bit difficult. Like if somebody had a gun to my head and I genuinely had to do it, I'd be crying. I'd be like, you fucking piece of shit. Why do I have to choose? But movies to me is the one that I'm the most passionate about, probably, and the one that I talk about the most. I'm very into music, but that's kind of more of a personal thing. That's more of like a headspace love. I don't really talk about it or express music a whole lot compared to the way I do movies. And video games, as much as I love them, out of the three, I could use those the least. I can be just as distracted as entertained watching movies or listening to music as I am playing video games. So, interesting question. Interesting question. Let's see here. Henry, hey Cody, love your channel. Just wondering, where can I find tall shelves to store movies and video games like the ones you have behind you? I want to decorate my man cave and make a collection. These you can get from Amazon. The brand is Sauder, Sauder. If you search Sauder movie shelves, you can pull up these exact shelves. But you can just look entertainment centers, or I don't know what style. There's a bunch of different ones. There's ones that go the entire wall. There's some that are kind of paired with an entertainment system. Excuse me, I've got like some kind of acid reflux hiccup thing going on. These I bought from Target, I think back when I worked there. So I had like 2 shelves at one point, and then I ended up buying another one to get the 3rd shelf, and then another one to get the 4th shelf. And eventually, over the years, Target stopped selling it, and I had to find it on Amazon because I wanted to keep this consistency here because I like the shelves. So if you want those specifically, search for that. Other than that, just search for, entertainment stand, media stand, and just kind of look at the options. Tourist Trap has a Blu-ray uncut version coming out on February 9th. Just checked Amazon. Also, Where the F is the Third Collector. Not the same Tourist Trap. That's actually a horror movie. I've never seen it, but Tourist Trap that I'm talking about is like a Disney movie. But thank you for looking. Also, Where the F is the Third Collector. I don't know. A lot of people were shocked I didn't have that on my top most anticipated. It's because I don't really have faith it's coming out this year. So I have no idea. Would you do a video about what you want to see from the Dexter revival? I might do that at some point. I'm not sure. I kind of talked about it a little bit whenever I announced it with my announcement video. But maybe me and Lindsay, after we wrap up the Dexter review series, we'll do a live stream talking about the franchise, and then we'll definitely talk about what we want to see in the revival season as a part of that. JDEV Entertainment, excellent content. Cody, looking forward to another Dexter season review. Thank you, sir. Probably late February, mid-February, somewhere in there. We'll get it going again. Lindsay and I have been very busy with the holidays and me with these top 50s and everything. So we're getting right back on it. Don't worry. CK78, by the way, congrats on 50K. You should check out the greatest hit of Disturbed vid on YouTube if you want a good laugh. Congrats again. Thank you, sir. What is a trend that you really can't stand? Being asked on any ranking video that I do in regards to my favorites, where's Seed of Chucky? Where's Freddy's Dead? Seriously, guys. The first person that gave me a comment like that was actually thought they were creative, that was years ago. Like, it drives me nuts how many people thought that is such a funny, unique comment that I've never heard before. And it's every single video. Like, I was doing the top 50 live stream and I got that like 8 times. It's like, where's Freddy's Dead? Laugh emoji. And I'm like, do you genuinely think you're the first person that has asked me that? Stop it. So beyond that, what's a trend that you really can't stand? Oh, Holly and Riley just got home. So I'll go for about another 10-15 minutes, guys, and then I'm going to head out because I need to eat dinner too. A trend that I can't stand is when horror movies, especially when they find something that works and they just beat it into the ground and don't understand why it worked. Found footage is a good example of that. They get something, they realize that it's successful, it's different, it's scary, and then they just fucking do it everywhere. You get Paranormal Activity, you get all these January, February horror movies. They're all found footage for like 5 years in a row, and they don't understand why. They're just like, oh, put found footage on it. It's instant success. You see that a lot in horror. They get some kind of thing that worked, like lightning in a bottle, and then they just abuse the shit out of it. All right. Henry, you mentioned in your Halloween 2007 review that you went to the theater with your dad to see it. I can't imagine the cringe and embarrassment you felt for the first few minutes of the movie. Cringe, not really embarrassment. My dad's not really a fan of Rob Zombie's movies either at all. I don't think he likes any of them. So he's even worse than I am. But yeah, we saw it because it looked cool. We were like, all right, we're both casual Halloween fans. We're like, oh, this might be good. The trailers were fantastic for that movie. We go to see it, and instantly, because neither one of us liked House of a Thousand Corpses or Devil's Rejects, which everybody was raving about. We were like, what the fuck? This is so vile and over the top with the dialogue. Please don't let it be like that. And within seconds, you watch Halloween and it's like, yep, it's exactly like that. I'm going to crawl over there and skull fuck the shit out of you. And we were like, oh my God, we are in for a painful 2 hours. Luckily, it got better, at least for me. But yeah, the first 10 or 15 minutes of that movie, it was like, oh, fuck me in the ass. Thoughts on Steven Seagal's movies? Never really been a big fan, honestly. My dad used to watch a lot of Steven Seagal, and I think that the novelty of Steven Seagal for me as a kid was that he looks very similar to my dad, so it was always kind of cool. Announcement from Holly.
I'm home, loser.
Did y'all hear that? Alexa, make announcement.
What's the announcement?
All right, woman.
Announcing.
All right, woman. Technology. So anyway, yeah, Steven Seagal's movies, I grew up kind of watching them casually with my dad. Never really blew me away. I was always a Arnold and Stallone guy, and I liked Jean-Claude a lot too as a kid. Not right now, baby. I'll be out in a minute. But one movie of his that I think is pretty kick-ass is a movie called Exit Wounds. He did it with DMX. That's actually a pretty damn good action movie. So I would recommend that one. All right, guys. I'm going to do 5 more questions. Looks like I've caught up all the way on the super chats. So we'll do 5 more. You activated my Alexa. You missed my super chat. Oh shit. Well, comment your question. Don't pay for it, but comment your question really quick because I'm looking for it and I'll read it. I apologize. It looks like it's already gone. I can't see it. Oh, it's right here. Duh. Never mind. Hey, Cody, congrats to 50K. Favorite Bond movies? I have not seen the vast majority of them. I'm trying to get the franchise watched before the new one comes out, and it looks like I'm going to have more time than I thought because it's going to get delayed probably. But of the ones that I've seen, which is very few, GoldenEye and Casino Royale are my 2 favorites, with Skyfall being an easy 3rd favorite too. But I love GoldenEye. That's the one that I grew up with. I still think it's a badass movie. Casino Royale is just incredible. So those 2 easily are my favorites. Ever going to do a collab with 3C Films, Stuckman, or Jeremy Johns? Well, Stuckman or Jeremy Johns, I don't even think is in the cards. They're way, 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 way bigger than me. I don't think they know or care who I am. If I'm wrong, that would be awesome. If Stuckman watches me and I don't realize it, or Jeremy watches me and I don't realize it, that would be cool to find out. Jeremy Johns is famous for not even doing collabs. Actually, I know somebody that I'm not going to name that actually reached out to him about doing a collab, and he has a channel sizable enough that it would make sense. And Jeremy's response was basically, hey man, yeah, I know who you are. I'm just feeling really lazy right now, so I'm not doing any collabs. So I don't think he would ever do a collab with anybody. Chris Stuckman, I don't see him do any collabs, so I don't really think he's somebody that particularly enjoys it either, unless he has somebody physically with him, like a friend. But he just did that, that big interview that blew up with Double Toasted. So who knows what the future might hold for the guy. But 3C is the only one of the 3 that I think would even be possible. He actually wanted to do a collab with me back when Child's Play was coming out last, was it 2 years ago now? 2 years ago. But we just couldn't really find a subject for a video that I was really interested in, because he was really doing a lot of Chucky stuff. And the only things left to talk about were something that I didn't really want to dive into, because I was trying to go into the movie as blind as possible, and I didn't want to like over speculate and ruin the movie for myself. So we kind of passed on that. I won't rule it out for the future. Obviously, he has grown exponentially since that offer, so I don't know if he would want to do that or not yet. But yeah, of the three, I think 3C, Chris is the only one that I would have any chance of doing anything with, because I've had conversations with the guy. Stuckman and Jeremy Johns, I would be surprised and excited if they even knew who I was. All right, 4 more. Did you like Ready or Not more or less on rewatch? About the same. It didn't really change for me a whole lot. I still feel like the movie is a lot of fun, has a cool tone to it. I love Samara Weaving, but I find that the movie strangely doesn't empower her as much as I would want. She kind of like accidentally survives instead of actually like taking charge and like brings the fight to them, kind of like You're Next. If they threw a little more You're Next flavor into there, I think the movie would be easily a star higher for me. Cody, what's a piece of advice for YouTube for like people starting out? I always kind of give the same ones. They sound cliche, but they are absolutely true. Number one is be yourself. Don't start YouTube and say, I'm going to do what Cody does, or I'm going to do what Jeremy Johns does, or I'm going to do what Dead Meat does. Do your own thing. Take influence, but don't show like blatant copying or anything like that, because you're never really going to feel satisfied with that. And people will see through it before long. I used to be a lot closer to Jeremy Johns' style than I like to admit, because I was starting off. His stuff is very basic, self-admittedly. So it was easy to kind of take that as a template and tweak it and kind of figure out how to do this whole movie review thing. I had like a blue background behind me. My thumbnails was a picture of me and then just the poster. And I think I might have been, I don't even think I was at 1,000 subs yet. And somebody was like, you're a Jeremy Johns ripoff. And I was like, oh, fuck no. And I changed everything. I changed my background. I changed my intro. I changed all the graphic design. I changed the thumbnails. That is the last thing that I want to do, is succeed as somebody else. So be yourself. Number 2 is don't get frustrated or discouraged. Do it for the fun of it. Don't do it to be an instant success. Don't do it thinking you're going to go viral. Don't do it thinking you're going to, get thousands and thousands of subs. You might be one of the lucky few, but most people are going to be on YouTube for years before they get a few thousand subs. So know that going in and expect that and work towards things, but don't feel like because you're, not an instant success that it's not worth doing it. If you have fun, just keep with it. And number 3 is be consistent. So if you're going to be a movie review channel, be a movie review channel. If you're going to do cooking instruction, do cooking instruction. If you're going to do ASMR, do ASMR. But don't do like this hodgepodge thing. So people think that that's the key to success. Oh, I'll get everybody if I do a movie review and a food review and a cooking instruction and ASMR and a prank video. No, because the people that subscribe for your movie review is going to wonder what the fuck all this other shit is that you keep doing and get impatient that you're not doing a movie review. And the people that subscribe for your ASMR is going to wonder why the fuck you're talking about Shawshank Redemption instead of making noise. Like, it's not the way that it works. So quick 3 tips for you. 3 more questions. Did I get a super chat? I think I saw something pop up. Oh, I got 2 of them. Okay, these won't count. Favorite trauma film, thoughts on Class of 84-99. I have never seen a trauma film, and I'm scared to even attempt it because I feel like that is just so anti-me as far as just being real, like, blatant trash that I probably won't enjoy it, like the Toxic Avenger and stuff like that. And I've never seen Class of 84 or 99, so thank you so much for the super chat. I'm sorry I can't give a better answer to your question. Congrats on 50K, Cody. Thoughts on Cabin Fever and Gothica? Gothica, I think, is actually really underrated. That's actually a genuinely creepy movie, so that one's actually pretty damn good. Cabin Fever, the concept I love. taking kind of the slasher movie template and just having a disease be the killer. I thought that was really cool when I first saw it. Unfortunately, it has the same pitfalls as every other Eli Roth movie, where you have this really terrible writing in spots, really goofy, wacky humor that just doesn't, it's like a brick in the face. Like when he shows up, come on, Dr. Mambo, when he's got the little dog, like it's just such a weird, like out of nowhere scene. It's just like, what are you doing, dude? So I like Cabin Fever, but it has a lot of flaws. I would definitely recommend Gothica over Cabin Fever. Pick up Hitman 3 yet? I pre-ordered it. It is already downloaded on my PS5, but I have not played it yet because I'm here talking to you bastards. What direction would you want for a sequel to Child's Play 2019? I had a total idea that I damn near had scripted out in my head back when the movie came out. I mean, obviously Andy's going to be older. I feel like he should be in a private school. That would be like a cool thing. Kind of not to the same degree, but similar to how he's isolated in Child's Play 3, where he's in this military academy and he has to stay there. Something like that, but like a private school. Like he got some kind of a lawsuit or him and his mom got some kind of a settlement from this company for everything that went wrong. And now she's wealthy and he gets sent off to this private school. And Chucky comes back and Chucky goes to this private school and does his thing. But I want Chucky to be full on Chucky. I think that's the one glaring weakness about the Child's Play remake is the design of the doll and the approach of the doll to certain extents. Like towards the end of the movie, he gets a little bit more like the Chucky we know and love. This movie needs to be that the whole movie. So that's just like a general idea that I can kind of throw out there. I don't know what number we're on, but I'll say we got 2 more. Where was I at? Where did you get that Chucky doll? That is from Trick or Treat Studios. It is a actual replica of Seed of Chucky, believe it or not, but it's the same design pretty much as Bride. So that's why I got it. They didn't have a Bride option. So we'll consider it a Bride replica. But yes, it is a screen accurate replica of the scarred Chucky. And it was like $600. So if you want one, it is on Trick or Treat Studios. NECA, NECA, they also have one. To me, it didn't look as good, but it's just as expensive. So check out both of those and make your pick. Since you're getting into Survivor, have you or Holly ever thought of trying out for the show? I watch Survivor religiously, and I think you guys would rock the game. I don't know, man. Like I play it, and when you're watching it on TV, it looks fun, but the elements is what would kill me. Like I think I could do really well with the challenges. I've always been a very good athletic, physical guy. I think that I could play the social game pretty good because I'm a likable guy, but I can also be a little bit villainous if I needed to be. So aside from having luck on my side, I think I could survive that. But to me, one of the biggest ones would be not being able to shower, the being in constant heat, even at night. I cannot sleep very well if I'm hot and sweaty and feel gross. The starvation side of it would really suck because I've never been in a situation where I've had to starve. So I don't know how I would deal with that. On paper, it sounds like it might be cool, but I honestly don't know. Like that would be a fun challenge. Like I've done a lot of challenges in my life, like put goals for myself to like see what I can do. And I pretty much nail every single one of them. But that would be one that would be like a cool bucket list thing. Like, can I actually survive out there? So I don't know. Like fantasy wise, have we ever thought like we both talk shit? We're like, I could do this. I could join Survivor. Could I actually do it? I have no fucking idea. I might be a bitch that, quits the game after 4 days. I really don't fucking know. But yes, on the surface level, I think it would be funny if we both got to play it. It would be interesting because at some point we'd have to vote each other out, and I don't think that would bode very well when we got home. Whether or not I won the million or she won the million, there would still be some scorn there. All right, last question. Let me find a good one here. Awesome, Jerry. I'm glad you liked it. Spread the word. Damn, I'm trying to find a good final question. All right, here's a good one. Did you hear that Kirby is alive after Scream 4 and is in Scream 5? I've heard that rumor. I don't know if that came from anywhere official. But if that is true, I am a fan of that because I loved her character and I thought it sucked that she died. And if she somehow came back in the 5th movie, it wouldn't be that hard to explain. She just survived her wounds. I think that it would be pretty awesome. It kind of makes Jill look like kind of a dumbass though, because if she left her living there, then that would have been a gigantic hole in her whole system. If she did manage to kill Sydney at the end of Scream 4, then you would still have Hayden being like, oh yeah, they're the killers, by the way. So yeah, I don't know. They would have to explain it and do well with it, but I would be a fan of that if she showed up in that movie. So I believe that is all. No super chats popped in, did they? Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. So 2 hours and 45. We're going to end it there. It's a nice round number. You guys are awesome. Thank you for getting me to 50K. On to 100K we go. Thank you so much for all of the super chats. You guys are awesome as well. A lot of really fun questions, guys. Keep your eyes peeled. So we have the top 100 movies of all time coming out here in a couple of weeks, sometime in February. We have 31 on 31 coming at the end of this month. I have a review series that I'm going to start next month and power through very quickly, but it is a review series that you guys have been asking for and will enjoy. So look forward to that. I'll announce it in my own way. I don't want to announce it here yet. Something really cool, a little revival show that I'm going to do sometime in March. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself now. Like you guys are going to be remembering that, but that is something to look forward to as well. Beyond that, I don't know. Whatever sounds fun, I guess I'll knock that out as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Keep being awesome as always, and I will see you next time.